UFC 329 is in the books, and I know Big John is supposed to be here, but guess what? He is late. He is late. He is coming. He says he's about 10 minutes late. I got a surprise for him, though. I got a surprise for him when he gets here. You guys are going to love it. Don't miss it. Wait till he jumps on. He said he'd be about 10 minutes late, but look, this is what we get. We're just waiting around. Waiting around. That's what we're doing. I found all the little sound buttons over here. So when he arrives, we'll give him this one. Waiting on him, but this is what it feels like as an every time. I'm just waiting on him. As it gets closer, my heartbeat starts to beat faster for him because I'm waiting on him. Waiting on Big John. He's always late. No, but he'll be here. He will be here. I got some news. Hey, we're going to talk about UFC 329, obviously being in the books. The very anticlimactic finale of Conor McGregor and his return. But look, I know there's so many conspiracy theories. There's all these other things being talked about when it comes to his performance and what happened. Boing, boing. I love that. Lazy man doing out here doing the Lord's work right there, my man. Element for you, element for me, element for us, element for we. I love that. Nice work. I got to make that little rhyme. Maybe I'll have the kids say that next time we do a commercial for them. So that'd be great. I think we'll talk more about this with Big John when he jumps on, but it just really comes down to, I think we're so consumed by all these conspiracy theories, whether it's from politics, whether it's from the fight game, whether it's in sports, whether it's in betting, all of these things. And now that betting is so involved with just sports in general, everyone's like, oh, well, he threw the fight. Oh, he did this. Or, oh, the game was rigged. Guys, we've got to stop. We've got to really kind of come to the conclusion that if you take a look at him in the back warming up, the knee was not injured in the back. You don't jump around that way if your knee is injured. Even if it was injured that much, the way that he couldn't even move inside the cage lets you know that it wasn't injured. It wasn't injured. He just really right now at this stage in his career, his body just can't do it. He has abused his body so much over the last 6-7 years, maybe even longer, that he is trying to play catch up. What he did before, we're living in the past. I know a lot of people are, but what he did before was remarkable. The way he was able to dispatch of so many fighters so fast, the way that he beat Max Holloway early in his career, the way he beat Dustin Poirier early in his career, the way he beat certain guys, the way he made it look easy against Eddie Alvarez, the way he knocked out, which was the GOAT for me at 145 pounds, was Jose Aldo. And the way he did it in 13 seconds. All of those things being said, like, he's not that guy anymore. And I think people are still living in the past. And you saw that with the betting odds. When it was I think it was like 5-1 betting odds when they first released that the fight was going to happen between Conor and Max. Literally, like, by the time they got to fight week, it was 2-1. 90% of the money that was bet on Conor McGregor to win. It didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense on why people would go out there and put money on Conor. The casuals came in. The millions of people that remember him from the old days, they remember him from fighting Floyd Mayweather. He is not the same guy. We all know this. If you guys are following this channel, you guys are hardcore fans. Like, there's not a lot of you guys left. Let's just be honest. There's not a lot of the hardcore fans that are still out there. We have been flooded with, I don't want to continue to call them casuals. We've been flooded with new people that just don't watch the sport as much. They go in, they go out, they watch the fighters that they want to watch, and then they move on. I guess that's literally the definition of a casual. but that's kind of where we're at. That's where we're at right now with him. And those of you guys who are wondering, Big John will be joining here shortly. Those of you guys that have joined, he'll be joining shortly. He's running a little bit late. He got stuck. He was having dinner with some friends, and he's on his way back to the house now. So he will be jumping on, and we'll go ahead and get into this a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw, I did a show with Big Ange, and I know a lot of you guys are like, Big Ange, I don't like the guy. I just read the comments. You guys are tearing him apart because he has a lot of casual takes. I like the guy. Him and I are friends, okay, outside of the podcast industry. We are friends. Our kids, our daughters went to school together. He's a good dude. I like the guy. I know he has some fucking wild, insane takes. Okay. But that being said, he's a good person. he had some ridiculous take on how Bobby Knuckles looked atrocious, looked exhausted. Maybe he looked a little tired having to deal with that size of Krylov, but ultimately he got the job done. He looked fast. He looked energetic. I mean, like, he looked tired. Of course, you will always look tired when you're fighting someone who physically seems to be a little bit bigger than you. A lot bigger, it looked like. But I mean, ultimately, they both weighed in at 205. They both made the weight, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Okay. But it really came down to the fact that Bobby Knuckles, I thought he looked good. I thought the movement was there, which is what he needs to fight at a higher weight class. He doesn't have to kill himself to get down to 85 anymore. He can just eat whatever he wants and fight whatever he wants and fight at whatever weight he can get to, which is 205. He probably doesn't have to cut much weight. Probably has to cut maybe 5-6 pounds. Maybe 10 pounds at the most. At the most. Everyone keeps saying, like, this is just kind of like the end of his career. It is towards the tail end of his career. But let him enjoy the tail end of his career. And I tried to make this point about Bobby Knuckles today. He's 3 fighters down, I should say, from getting a title shot at 185. Chimaev may get an automatic rematch, and if he doesn't, Imavov is going to fight next. And then Chimaev, if he does get a win, he'll get the rematch next. And then you got DDP in the mix there too, if he's able to beat Kamaru Usman. And if Kamaru Usman beats DDP, that puts Kamaru Usman back into the mix. That leaves Bobby Knuckles way out of the picture. So he actually has a better chance of going to 205 and not having to cut the weight, and an opportunity to still get on and still get a title shot. And that just makes the most sense. If I am Bobby Knuckles, I'm like, look, let me go to 205. The guys are slower. They're not as athletic as me. And I could potentially outpoint them, get the wins, and then move on. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can get to the title shot probably a lot faster if I fight at 205. And you saw that with Krylov. He had the faster jab. He obviously still has some punching power, and the punching power translated going up because he was able to break Krylov's jaw. So when I saw that, just what do you think about the MGK trash talking? I'm going to show that video later. I thought it was awesome. He did 2 of them. But back to Bobby Knuckles. Bobby Knuckles, to me, I think I'm happy for him. If he wants to fight at 205, doesn't want to kill his body to get down to 185, I'm all for it. Think about this. He beats Krylov. He's at like number 12 or number 14 somewhere right now. He's in the top 15. He's going to be ranked basically, even with another win over whoever else he fights at 205. He'll always be ranked in that top 10, whether it's 85 or 205, but he'll have a faster track to get the title at 205. And he doesn't have to cut 20 pounds to get to 185. I mean, if I'm him, I'm looking at the big picture and going, man, I can actually not have to cut the weight. I can eat whatever I want, train fully hydrated, train fully energized with food, get all the nutrition that I feel like I need. He looked a little soft around the midsection. He didn't look as soft as fucking Big Ange. I'll tell you that, though. I'll tell you that. He did not look as soft as Big Ange. Big Ange's got 3 chins, 2 belt lines. I mean, he's got Dunlap disease, man. His belly Dunlapped over his belt line. And he lifted up his shirt a little bit today. I was like, bro, put that down. You're going to scare away the people that are watching right now. So, I think what Bobby Knuckles is doing for himself, this could prolong his career. Not having to kill himself to get to 85. He's got the speed, and we saw that against Krylov. He's the faster fighter. And he's got a great jab. He's got good kicks, but I think he'll be afraid of being taken down unless he's fighting a guy who doesn't have any type of real wrestling or takedowns. So I like it, man. You know, I think I want to see more of a sample size of him there at at 205. But RDR is up at 205 now. Paulo Costa's up at 205 now. The guys that were killing themselves to get to 85 are now going up to 205. I think it's smart. Now you got Bobby Knuckles there. I think the 3 of them can make some waves in that division, and that division is weak as hell. It's the worst weight class right now in the sport, even more so than heavyweight. There's a little buzz right now with heavyweight because you got Hoki kind of mixing it up. You got Gable Steveson. I know he's got a long ways to go. I said that the other day. But there's some fights to be had there that are fun. And they've got the name value now that is coming along with it. Let's take a look at the heavyweight division. If I'm looking at the heavyweight division, right, you got Cyril Gahn, who's there. He's the interim champ. Tom Aspinall is the champ. Volkov's still a dog, still doing it after all these years. Pavlovich is still there. Hokic is at number 4. Waldo Cortez Acosta has been fun, man. I wish he would fight. I know he fought a lot last year towards the end of the last 6 months, and we got a lot of him. John does the show again. Yes, John does McCarthy Mondays now. We try to get him on every Monday. He's running a little bit late today. He had a late dinner at 7 o'clock. He's on the East Coast time. So he will be joining here in the next probably 10 minutes or so. He's a little, he's not tech savvy, so let's bear with him. All right. So when I look at Hokic there, it's making a splash. You got Spivak is there, Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades, I don't think should be below Spivak. Okay. But I think Curtis Blades in that Waldo Cortez Acosta area is where he should be. But all those guys below, this is not a great weight class, but I can go into the 205s. 205s is like the heavyweight and then, or not the heavyweight, but the champion, and that's it. You got Olberg and Ankalaev. Yuri Prochazka has been knocked out a couple times. He's been struggling a little bit. There's the guy right there, Big John. He's coming. He's coming. Let's see if he can square up his, see if we can square him up. Hey, can we get you somewhat? There we go.
Somewhere in here.
Yeah, you're coming through your computer.
Shit, am I?
Yeah.
I don't hear it. Hold on, let's see.
I got to deal with. See what I got to deal with.
Man.
Fucking boom.
You know how screwed up I am.
I know. I get it. What did you do last? Did we get you to we got you to go off and come back on, didn't we?
Oh, you know what happens is my phone, when I bring my phone in here, it grabs that.
There you go. I got you now.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. Look at that beautiful face.
Well, now everyone knows you're lying. But that's okay. Good.
I gotta stay shaved, man, because my wife doesn't like it when I have a beard anymore.
Really?
No, she doesn't.
Dude,
like
if I shave this now, because I was thinking about because it's the only place I really have a whole lot of gray.
Mm-hmm.
So if I shave it, I'll look younger.
Why don't you give me like them little like handlebars or like that?
I could do that, dude.
Will she let you do it?
No, one time I just decided I had this idea. So I was living in Vegas.
That
and
never sounds good when John says I had this idea.
So I'm in Vegas, right? And some people are over. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go. And so I go inside and I take a thing and I cut off right here all the way up. So it just is like this beard that goes straight across, right? Right. And go down. She doesn't notice. My wife doesn't notice. No one noticed. I'm like, all right, motherfuckers. So then I go and I cut it down to a goatee like I normally used to wear, right? Still not a thing. About 10 minutes later, I go in and I cut it to a big old Fu Manchu that runs back, right? And she goes, what in the hell have you done?
Man.
So I was going to change it until you figured that you would take note. You finally did.
Do me a favor. I know last week we turned your volume up a little bit. Can you turn your volume down a tiny bit?
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit. Not much.
Yeah. How's that? Better?
Go ahead, talk. Mary had a little
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
A little more.
If it gets, I don't want to get distorted when you laugh.
Got it.
He goes, and I make you laugh a lot. But look, because you were late, I had to do this because you were late.
That's it.
I gotta get the job.
That's a good. That's an oldie but a goodie right there. I like that one.
I had to get you. You're normally right on time. I like to bust your balls about always being late, but you're always on time. But today you weren't.
I promised someone I would go out to eat with them, and I figured, okay, I got an hour and a half, and then they're talking, and all of a sudden, my wife goes, "What time are you supposed to be on with Josh?" Oh shit! And right then is and I'm trying to get in the car and drive. So as you come on and say, "Hey man, where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's
all right." No, I get it. Look, when you have friends in town, you try to be accommodating to make sure you guys can have dinner and you're not cutting them off. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Let's look. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about. UFC 329. Did you watch the whole card?
I watched the whole card.
What'd you think of the card?
Overall, I thought the card was really good. I thought they really had some good fights. It doesn't matter, and then we've said this too many times. I don't care how good your card is when your main event, just goes, which it did, and that's it just shit happens. But as soon as that happens, everyone looks at it like, oh, the night sucked. When it didn't, there was some great fights. There was some great performances, and I really enjoyed just about all the fights on there. I know there was a lot of things that happened, and the Corey Sandhagen fight was phenomenal. I thought, as far as the way he fought through, because he got hurt. That hamstring, absolutely. They were saying it was knee. I go, no, it's his hamstring, man.
John,
With
watch
the
this.
stretch.
Watch this.
What? Oh, boom! There you go.
I was going to talk about it later, but look, you brought it up, and I said, look, yeah.
You could see it, and they're saying, "Oh, it's his knee," and I go, "It's not his knee. I think he fucking popped his hand because it was a Suluev stretch that started to do it."
Yeah.
Right, and I was like, I think it's his hamstring, and then he was moving and doing pretty well. I was like, wow, I give him credit because I know that had to hurt his hamstring.
Yeah. You know why I thought it was his hamstring? Because when he got up, his knee was actually buckled inward, which means that the hamstring, like, it cut and it just kind of balled up a little bit into his back, and it's pulling whatever was left on it was pulling the back of his knee the best it could, and it just wasn't enough. Because when he stood up, his knee went straight and then it pushed back, and you could see that his knee went like jet white. It was it was white, like it turned that yellowish color, which means there's damage in there.
Yep, and it's funny because this is where I love MMA fighters and guys, and for people to understand, I want you to think about this, Josh. You can pick out Conor too, because it is the way what happened. Look at that hamstring, okay? Look at Conor; he tore his ACL. All right, how many times in football, basketball, baseball do you see someone tear their knee and boom, they're down on the ground, not moving, rolling around, grabbing, and stuff? They're hurt. Corey Sandhagen fought that whole fight after getting that injury. Conor McGregor wasn't able to continue, but he tried. He gets up, he tries to kick again, he tries to throw a punch, he falls down again. Max kind of goes over him, does some stuff. He gets back up, he tries again. There was no quit. And you look and you go, man, do you realize what the injury is that person just sustained, and they are just continuing on? Damn. How impressive are these people?
Yeah.
And you were one of them, but now you wouldn't do it because now you would fall down on the field and cry.
Absolutely. Freaking throw me in there with LeBron James, soccer players. That's me right now. If something like that happened to me, I'm just the sound that would come out of my mouth would be fucking excruciating.
Exactly.
Just, I can't do it. No. It's Corey Sandhagen. I got to tip my hat to him, man. To finish the way he did was fantastic. Look, I know it wasn't the performance he wanted. He got in a lot of trouble. He got rocked also too. And that's the problem is that when you get injured, you're like, look, I can get knocked out really bad trying to fight through this. Or do I just look, it's a wrap. I can't move. I can't do anything. Because if you get knocked out real bad, that can take some fight years away from you as well.
Absolutely.
And that especially Corey, he's not old. But I'm saying one leads to one knockout, maybe leads to another, and then leads to another because your brain's just not able to take that damage, especially as you get older. And he's, like I said, he's not old, but you want to avoid being knocked out at all costs. And just to go out there and show how tough you are and take the damage that he was willing to take. It's ill-advised in most sports, but for us, it's no, he toughed through it. We got to give him credit for it. Absolutely. He fought a damn good fight. He fought a good fight for someone who only had one hamstring trying to move around.
Hell yes.
So
I mean, really impressive. Because I don't want to take anything away from Mario Batista. No. He fought a great fight. Absolutely beautiful fight against a guy who, man, we know is a stud, and he put on a great performance. So he really deserves the credit that he should get for what he did in there because he's the one that created that. That
is the only fight I lost in my bets.
Really?
That fight. I bet Corey Sandhagen to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only fight I lost in my bets, man. I picked all the other ones. I picked winners. I was very happy with them. I picked Gable Stevenson, obviously.
Oh, wow.
I know. I went all out on that.
So what? So hold on. So you bet $100 to win $2.80.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was that. I don't even know.
I think it was 2,800 or something like that. I was like,
yeah. When I bet on it, it was plus 1,600. When I bet on
Jesus,
I think it was 1,600 or 1,800. Yeah. I bet on him. Bet on Whittaker. Bet on Green. Bet on Roy Vall, which was very controversial. A lot of guys thought Loney Kavanaugh was going to win that fight.
Oh yeah, no.
And then
that second round, he put on a hell of a performance. Mm-hmm. That's why the card was really good. It had some great fights.
Yeah,
it really did.
Let's get to the main event though, and then we'll go down the card a little bit and
All
see
right.
what show, and talk about it. But let's go. Max Holloway though, and Conor. Not much to talk about, but ultimately let's talk about where does he go from here? Conor McGregor, obviously.
It's one of those. We talked about it even before this fight. You have to be honest about things and look at it and say, I truly didn't think Conor had a great chance of winning that fight. I thought if he was going to win it, the first round would have been, his round to do it in. And every round that it went past that, Max is a guy that he's got great endurance, even at 100. I thought he looked great at 170 pounds. And this is, because he didn't look heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And he just looked good. He looked like he was healthy. He looked the way you're supposed to look, and he was out there to sling. It just didn't happen based upon the injury and stuff. And I love the fact that, all of these conspiracy theorists. He went in there with, his leg was already bad. You can see him in the back. And Josh, I can tell you, I watched him do it in person live. He would mimic how he would believe the start of the fight was going to take place. He would make those movements, and he would do it over and over and over again. And he was mimicking that kick in the back. The big difference is in the back, he's on mats and tatamis that are they got some stick to him.
Mm-hmm.
And when his foot comes down, it doesn't move. And that canvas, it kind of slides. And when it slides, it kind of has a buckle at times, and that can catch you. And it did. And he popped his leg, he popped his knee, and it just bad luck, especially for an Irishman. That's real bad luck.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have the luck of the Irish. It just wasn't there.
I think he's running out of his luck, buddy.
Well, I look and say, has he run out of his luck with the UFC? Maybe, because I don't see them putting him against, people are saying they're going to put him against Chandler. I don't see that happening. In his last fight for the UFC, I don't see them giving him a fight that he should be winning. That's just not the way a promoter, and it's not the UFC. This is everyone. Promoters, for the most part, put you against the person that they believe can get a win against you, so they can promote that person that they have under contract, and you go away with a loss, and whoever gets you, you're a little less of that fighter that they can brag about based on, well, you just lost here.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah, I understand that. There was a tweet, I believe, it got sent to me today. There was a tweet from Oscar Willis, who runs Mac Life, and there was a tweet from Brett Okamoto, and it was at the exact same time with the exact same spelling, the exact same punctuations. That it's basically said, like, hear me out, or it said something along those lines, and it's going to be Conor's going to fight Floyd Mayweather at Zuffa Boxing. Now, for that to come from Oscar Willis and Brett Okamoto, who works for ESPN, and it had the same exact punctuation. There was nothing different about the two, and they were both sent exactly at the same time at 2:47 a.m.
Wow.
And so that, to me, it's very strange. But I would not be surprised with Floyd Mayweather's issues and problems with money right now, that if you see him fight, Turki Al-Sheikh gets what Turki Al-Sheikh wants. And he says, hey, I want to see Floyd and I want to see Conor. Conor doesn't have to kick anymore. We can just go ahead and have him box.
Yeah.
Floyd's 50-something years old now. Conor's 38 years old, 37, going to be 38 years soon. And, it's going to be 8 months before he can move around, do anything. Why work on kicks? Your leg is broken on one side, and now you have a torn ACL on the other. Like, let's get you into boxing. Let's go ahead and they'll try to hold that last fight because they don't want to let him go anywhere else if he does decide to fight MMA. But if we give you a contract in boxing, and Turki Al-Sheikh and Zuffa Boxing ponies up, I could see them making it right that way. I think that's the only way they're able to really try to keep Conor in that mix so he doesn't go anywhere else.
It could be, because look, Dana's always had a good relationship with Floyd. And so, that's it's a definite possibility, but it's one of those you look at and you go, Conor's got the ability, no matter what. And this is, you got to be honest when you look at all of it. Look at the excitement and look at what was occurring before that fight took place. Look at just the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday, and some of the media interviews that he did. Just take a look at the excitement that was building. there was an electricity that, you know, you could, he just has that aura and that ability to bring it. And a lot of it is, you know, what he says and how he says it and stuff. But, you know, he is always going to be able to get people's attention. He's got that.
Yeah.
And I can see where the UFC doesn't want to lose him. I don't blame them. But he's got to be smart about it. And if he, you know, he's a businessman, his, you know, Audiotar is his, you know, management, and he's a businessman, and they're going to go and they're going to see what his value is and what people want to do. And when you got, you know, entities like, you know, Turki Al-Sheikh is one end, you got Netflix on the other end, and you've got people that will want to do business with him. And what can he make? He's gonna at least have to, you know, go out and see. Doesn't mean he's going to sign it. Doesn't mean he's going to walk away from the UFC, but he's got to see. There's just no way that he can sign something with the UFC that binds him without knowing.
Here's the thing, John. I am so baffled by fighters who don't just fight out their contract and see. I've always wondered. Now, look, I'm not saying that going to one championship or going to PFL is the best thing for your career, but if you can triple your money, there's, you know, there's a lot to be said there, especially if you're a fighter that, look, you know that you're 37, 36, and they're not going to give you a title shot unless you're Conor McGregor. They probably would have given him a title shot if he won that fight.
If he won, sure.
But that doesn't happen for everybody else. Okay. The reality is if you got a guy who's 34, 35, and he's not really that marketable, and you can go to PFL and make $800,000 or $700,000 a fight, my suggestion would be to test out the open market and see. I've always thought that way. And I thought if more fighters did that, I've said this for the longest time. Eddie Alvarez did that. He made so much money doing that for so long. You know, and then and then you had DJ, who actually was able to leave and go over to one. He made a ton of money over there as well. Yeah, there's just certain guys. Anthony Rumble Johnson was released, right, because he didn't make the weight. He didn't make the weight to fight Vitor Belfort. Goes to World Series of Fighting is what it was called then, and he has 3 good wins, one over Andrei Arlovsky, and then another 1 or 2 over some other heavyweights. He fought at heavyweight. Yeah, and then he comes back to the UFC. His contract, had he stayed in the UFC, was only like 120 and 120. They gave him a $500,000 and $500,000 contract. And then he made more after he went through that first 6-fight contract at 205 because he was knocking everybody out. Yeah. And they're like, hey, well, let's pay you some more right before he got his title shot against DC.
You remember when he came back and he fought Nogueira?
Yeah.
You know,
I was on that card.
Rogerio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and just fucking starched him.
Yep.
And it was like, well, they have found their next 205er, and that was, and it was, but he had to take that trip outside of that organization to make it happen because, you know, you've got to show your value, and Conor obviously has his value, and the UFC knows what his value is. But like, I agree with you. Every fighter should be figuring out what their value is. And the whole thing is exactly what Max Holloway said, and we said, you're a prize fighter. The prize is money. You know, if you're fighting, you know, for free, or you're fighting for half the money that you can make somewhere else, it's probably not that bright a decision.
And just like I'm suggesting you fight out your contract to go see what other companies will pay you, I also suggest this. Go to those other companies first before you go to the UFC and build your name there. Get 4 or 5 wins in Bellator, or not Bellator, PFL, and other organizations. Get some wins. And put your name out there. Then the UFC will pay you more when you come in. Sure. You won't get paid an entry-level contract. You won't get paid the 12 and 12, 14 and 14, 16, 16. You'll get paid the 19 and 19 and 19 and 22 and 22. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but you're getting an extra $5-6 grand, and it's an entry-level contract. So the level of fighters you're going to fight will be the same as if you had another entry-level contract, but you're going to have more money. It just makes sense. Build your brand outside a little bit before you come to the UFC. And what I mean, not just the CFC and not just the LFA, not just the Fury Fighting. Try to get into the PFL. Try to get into one championship. Maybe not one.
Not one anymore.
Not one, because you're just going to get locked into a long-term contract. But try to get into another promotion that gives you 4 and 5 fight deals. Get those 4 fight wins and go, look, okay, I'm going to fight my contract out. Let me see what I can do over here.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to build up your ability to make money for yourself long term.
You're right. It is.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to, fighters have egos, and their ego tells them they want to be able to say, I fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
Because there's it's the same, as, oh, do you play football? Yeah, I'm in the UFL. The what?
Yeah.
That's the difference is, people want to say, I play in the NFL.
Yeah.
There's just that, it carries that persona of, I'm a professional. I'm good at what I do. And that's what the UFC does for fighters, as far as just those 3 letters. Someone's able to say, I fight for the UFC. That's telling this person who doesn't really know a lot about the sport, that I'm good.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth behind it. Look, Conor, I think he's obviously needs time to heal. He also brought up, he said he had a comment here. Let me go ahead and pull this one up. This is what his comment was. Oh, whoops, not that one.
That's Corey.
Yeah, what's Corey still up
nasty.
here? Add to this stage. Surgery, prehab, return to martial arts practice, go again, final fight of the contract. He is fixated on the fact that it's his final fight of his contract, John. He is fixated on that, which means there is something going on with him in the UFC that they can't seem to come to terms with. He wants out, like either to test the free market, or he just was like, look, I want to just be able to do whatever it is I want to do. If I want to fight bare knuckle, I want to fight bare knuckle, which I don't think he will. It's not smart for him to fight bare knuckle either. But if he wants to go box Floyd Mayweather, he wants to go box Manny Pacquiao, he can do it with no strings attached. I think that's what he wants. He's like, I can control my own destiny outside of this and not be under a contract with Zuffa or with the UFC. I think he realizes that I'm the breadwinner. I can do whatever I want if I'm just free. These companies and these networks will talk to me directly and talk to my management directly. Other fighters don't have that. Like Francis Ngannou, sure, he had some success, but he doesn't have that Conor McGregor effect, right?
No.
They will throw cash at him, right? With Conor can be the A side on majority of these fights that he chooses to fight. Whereas Francis in the boxing world, he had to be the B side. As Tyson Fury, like he had to be the B side.
That's right.
Which is rightfully so. But he still went out there and commanded a lot more money than he was going to make in the UFC. So what do you think Conor's going to command? 80 million, 70 million, 60 million, 100 million?
Who have been the 2 biggest stars in the UFC?
Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor.
You hit it right on the head. So now take a look at, and people would say whatever they want. I love when it's, when people don't like somebody or something, and they're with another organization, they always want to just put something down. But you got to be honest and look and say, Ronda Rousey got 17 million views with a first-time promotion. And I'm going to say she did an incredible job of promoting that fight card. The things that she said, the way that she got people, as far as, bringing them in and having this whole thing with Gina Carano, and that, she, her and Gina looked at each other and said, we need to do this together, all this stuff. And then her little battle with, she stayed on the side of Dana, but a little battle with, Hunter Campbell and stuff. And it's like, look, she made that. She did an incredible job of building that and marketing that show. And it paid off. It showed by the amount of people that actually wanted to see it and pay attention to it. Conor, no matter what happened with the knee, the buildup that was happening for that fight, by the time that Saturday rolled around, he did a phenomenal job of getting people to believe. Look at the way the betting lines changed, Josh. That, because it started off, Max was a huge favorite, and by the end, it was closing down, and there's only one reason. He makes people believe. He has that ability. So the 2 biggest stars, are those 2 that the UFC have had, because they were the best at selling what you want to watch. You want to see this show. You want to see me fight. And so I look at it, it's like they're never going to lose that. There's always going to be people, and I say it is both ways. There's people that want to see him win, and there's people that want to see him lose. But that's okay, because that's what puts butts in seats, and that's what puts eyeballs on the screen. And they're both great at it, and it doesn't matter And this is where Ronda proved that it doesn't matter that it was not the UFC's marketing machine behind her, and the UFC's got a great marketing machine. She was able to do that with another, and Conor will be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, I wasn't big on the way that she did it. I thought her first comments were okay. Look, she got it all, aired it all out. I wasn't huge on she continued to beat the Hunter Campbell situation.
She picked her victim.
Yeah. She
that's fine.
I wanted it to be more about her and Gina and moving on. After the very first time that she did the press conference and she went after Hunter Campbell, I was like, okay, it's done. UFC good. But they kept talking about UFC. I was like, guys, make this about you guys. You guys are the stars. Make this about Netflix being in the business. Make this about MVP, its first big MMA promotion. I wanted it to focus more on that. And I've said this to you before. I said, look, when Scott Coker starts his new promotion, I hope nobody talks about the UFC. And this is not a dig at them, because you can't be a new promotion MVP or Scott Coker's or the PFL and talk about the UFC. Don't even bring up their name. Just say, hey, they got great fighters. We got great fighters. We're going to do our thing. They're going to do their thing, and we can coexist. People will tune in for us because they want to watch what we're doing, and people are going to tune in for them because people want to watch what they're doing. That's the way I think there should be the approach. Now, fighters are going to say what they want to do, say what they want to say. But Ronda, I think, she just kept going after Hunt. Now, that being said, Conor, the week of, I felt like he did almost little to no press leading up to this. Even Dean Thomas had talked to me. He goes, look, he did one little commercial where he looked in the camera and was like, that was it. He's like, that was it. That's all we got out of him. He's like, I was a little disappointed that he didn't do more. And I'm like, but then the week of the fight, very much how Nate Diaz is, shows up late to the press conference, throws water bottles, and all of a sudden you got fucking 50 million views.
Yep.
They do a great job that week, and social media for the UFC does a great job of getting every little ounce of content out there that gets you to want to buy in.
That's it.
And that's the UFC, John. They are the best outside of the NFL, and the NFL doesn't even have to do a job like the UFC does, because UFC has to sell you every single fight, and they have to sell you every single main event. Whereas the NFL sells itself now these days. They don't need you. They'll talk about the biggest game of the week, but they just do a quick little 30-minute 30 for 30 on it or something. And then and then all the media sources pick it up and run with that. Hey, the Buffalo Bills are playing the Kansas City Chiefs this week. Biggest game of the weekend, right? And they do all their job. This is Conor McGregor, and then next week it's going to be so-and-so, and next week after that's going to be so-and-so. The UFC does a great job of getting people to believe that Conor McGregor actually had a chance.
Oh, yeah.
And John, I normally, I'm a sucker for that shit, right?
Yes, you are. I love it. One of the things I love about you, baby.
I could talk to a fighter and be like, there's just no way he fucking loses. And then I'll turn around and talk to his opponent. I walk away and be like, that guy's going to fucking win. That guy's going to win. The best thing I've done is just not talk to the fighters anymore. Just go with my gut. Just say, hey, what's this? But I think Conor did a great job this week building up the fight. It had so many people. We went from 6-1 odds, 6-1 underdog to 2-1.
2-1.
2-1. And I was like, wow.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and the fight lasted, I don't know, 25 seconds or something.
69.
Yeah, obviously not good. Not good for him. Do we see him come back? Do you? I think we do, because he wants out of his contract so bad. He wants freedom.
No, I agree with that. There's a lot of people saying, I think the UFC is going to release him. I'm like, they're never
no way
going to release him.
That's a joke. Is that a joke, right? That's a joke.
Well, yeah. I got some great beachfront property in Kansas to sell you. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. I do believe he comes back. It's the real question for me is, okay, who are they going to put against him to build that fighter? And people have got to expect that it's going to be a very tough fight for Conor to win, whoever it is. And, that's okay. And I do think that there are certain people that they transcend wins and losses. And Conor's last two losses are based off of, like, he wasn't winning the Dustin Poirier fight, even though he'll tell you he was. Okay, he wasn't winning that one when he broke his leg, but it was only one round. Okay, and you look and you go, this one, he hurt himself before they even touched each other. Yeah, Max threw a couple punches on him and stuff like that, but the fight was really, there was, the outcome was there based upon the injury. So he hasn't, if there's one that he talks about, he's never lost a fight, because he doesn't get knocked out. Well, Yes, he did get knocked out against Dustin in the second fight.
Yeah.
Okay, but I love the fact that Max says, "Well, then I didn't have a loss against you because it was decision." So it's the truth. If you want to look at it that way, then it's going to go both ways. But I don't think that it really depends on how well he's able to, do against whoever it is. If he can put on a good performance, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. People are still going to want to see him. He's just got that X factor.
Yeah, he does. He's got it, man. There's people are going to always tune in. The old school fans, or not the old school fans, but the casual fans that saw him on all the late night talk shows doing spinning heel kicks off of someone hitting the water bottle out of their hand or off their head. All of those things. They remember that.
Yeah.
Because they don't watch the sport enough to realize he's been gone for 7 years.
No.
They don't realize that. He hasn't had a win in 7 years, been gone for 5 years, comes back, tears this. I think, all things aside, he's not leaving the UFC because he's upset with them. He just wants freedom. He wants the ability to have his agents do their job and go out there and get him the most amount of money they possibly can. He knows with the UFC that he is maxed out. He's capped. Like they're only willing to pay him a certain amount of money, especially at this stage in his career.
But you got to figure there's really nobody making more money than him in the UFC.
No.
Okay.
And no one deserves to be honest.
I agree. And so he's capped in that I can't ask for more if I'm not winning.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. And, I definitely can't ask for more coming off of my last performance here because I hurt myself and it lasted 69 seconds. So I'm not going to be getting, more pay unless I go out on my own. And that's where he will get more pay.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing for him to look into. I'm not saying it's the right thing for him to do in the end. It could be that the UFC, offers him a great contract and he stays with it. And that's great. But how far, you got to look, if you're the UFC, you're going, well, how many more fights does he really have? Because by the time he comes back, he's 38 now. Okay. And we get one fight at 38, and then he's going to be 39.
Yeah.
So
you're going to get the one fight. Yeah. You get the one fight.
Start at 39. There's not a lot there.
But let's be honest. He can go even at 40 years old, and Nate Diaz will be 44, I think, by then, or 43 by then. He could fight Nate Diaz for $30-40 million at a lot easier fight than any of the guys that the UFC is going to match him up against for $30 or $40 million.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to fight Max Holloway, who's number 2 or number 3 right now in the rankings, to get that $30 million. Well, he can go fight Nate Diaz for. It
was one thing that cracked me up because here's Max sitting in the lightweight division, as a top 5 fighter, but he walks out first because it's welterweight.
Yes,
he's not ranked, right? And I was like, oh man, they did it to him again. Look at that. All right,
yeah.
Man.
They keep screwing up. Does this seem kind of weird though that the last time they fought, Conor had a knee injury as well, or ACL?
He tore his ACL in that one.
I said it. I believe it's in Max Holloway's name. Blessed. Yeah. He's blessed. Like he came out like he tore his knee, but last time he was able to get takedowns. This time, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. Look, nobody's gonna put themselves. Nobody's gonna put themselves through that type of pain, that type of damage going out. I mean, they'll go out there with the hurt knee, but he didn't have that in the back. I didn't see that in the back. And you could see the look on his face of like, I've done everything I was supposed to do. I stopped partying. At least that's what we're being told, right? Stopped partying and got structured with my lifestyle. I disrespected my family. I disrespected my wife, my kids. I've got my life on track. It seems like he's found God, believe it or not. I'm not like, that's for only he knows whether he's found God or not. That's his deal. Okay. But ultimately you could see the look of frustration on his face.
Sure.
Of like,
Josh, think about it. After going through a full camp and doing exactly what you're saying, of getting yourself back in line with being an actual fighter and putting in that work and all the time and effort there, bringing your family, and then I hurt myself on the first jump I make, landing. Sure, there's got to be frustration. You got to be like, man, am I cursed?
Yeah.
Because, there's that. I mean, how do you sit there and say, I've now have 2 fights in a row, one with a broken, leg, ankle, and now with a torn out knee, that I have 2 losses based on me basically just trying to fight and doing something that caused the injury. Okay.
Yeah.
It sucks.
There's a couple things I wanted to point out though. And look, I want him to stay sober, but having a knee surgery, they give you Vicodin, they give you Oxy, they
You
give
don't
you
have
all
to
these
take
things. You don't have to, but John, that first week is fucking miserable.
Yeah, but I've had 5 of them. Okay. No. And
not all of us are Big John.
Trust me, I hate first, and you're right. Everybody is different and everyone's pain tolerance is different, but everyone feels pain. Everyone. It's a matter of, hey, do I truly need it?
Well, that's not true. There's a disease, right, where you don't feel pain. Remember that movie Glass Man or something, and the other guy who didn't feel pain. There's actually there's a real disease.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. There you go.
That's it.
But no, I understand what you're saying. My concern though is that look, when I was younger, I used to smoke a lot of weed in high school, like freshman, sophomore year. And then when I had my first knee surgery in 96, it was right after I graduated high school in between my 96, 97 year. I'd taken Oxy. I'd never taken Oxy or Vicodin before. And John, it was like feeling high again, but without having to smoke. And it just, I got addicted to it for probably, I'd say about 2 months. I was like, oh, then you realize you couldn't take a shit because it makes you dehydrate you and it makes you constipated. And I was like, it was the worst pain ever. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Yeah. Never have I ever touched Vicodin or Oxy again, ever. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll just take the 600 milligram or whatever, ibuprofen.
Tylenol, ibuprofen.
Yeah, the Tylenol, ibuprofen. I was like, nah, I'm good. That was trying to take a shit was the worst fucking feeling in my life.
That was the most pain right there, right?
It was horrible, man. It was so bad. But
that's on honest to God, that's why I won't take it. I won't take that crap. I just won't. It's like, hey, I'll put up with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a worse, it's a really bad. That's what scares me is that he's trying. It seems like he's trying hard to stay sober. You try hard to stay sober, then you get a knee surgery, then you take some sort of pain meds that makes you feel like you're high again. Then that potentially leads into like, look, I can't train, I can't do anything. So let's just sit around and pop fucking 600 milligram ibuprofens or Oxy, and maybe let's have a cocktail with it. Let's have a whiskey. Let's have a, you know what I mean? Like,
well, now whiskey is a little different.
It just runs through his veins, right? Because he's, but I get it.
I would like to say that I do not partake of the whiskey part, but
you do.
Yeah. I'll take that over the Oxy any day.
I agree. I just don't want to see him come off of what he's been able to do over the last 6 months or 5 months or whatever.
I agree.
Yeah, so
it really seems and it looks, as an outsider, he's kind of figured out what's important and he's gotten his life straightened out a little bit. And I hope it stays that way. I really do. That's what he needs.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take this super chat here. It says, thanks for the $5 super chat, Zeke6629. Why would Conor sign another deal with the UFC if he can go to do boxing or bare knuckle boxing? And who should Max fight next? Thanks for the super chat. Zeke, why would he sign another fight? I mean, it depends on what the money is. I think he wants to test out the free agency, see what that is. That's one. Two is he's at, like we just talked about, he's at a stage in his career where he knows that he can go off and talk directly to Netflix himself. He doesn't need to have the UFC involved like they were with the Mayweather deal. They were involved so much that they got a bigger cut than he did. They brokered the deal. He was under contract with them. That was the only way he could get it done. Otherwise, it would have just been talk. And then where does Max go from here? John, where does Max go from here?
Max goes wherever he wants. Hopefully, you're taking a look and he's right in that mix of he's got the win against the champion, which was it was a dramatic win as far as the knockout, but he had won the fight long before the knockout, and so he's got an absolute, stellar win against the guy who is the champion. And you take a look in that, weight class now at 155, there's not a whole lot of people that you can put in there besides him. No. People could talk about Arman Sarukian. Okay, he's at that point. Paddy Pimblett, as proven, but Paddy just had to fight with Justin, and he fought well, but Justin handled him well. And so you look and you go, I honestly believe that Max deserves a shot at that lightweight title. If you're gonna, it makes sense for the marketing. If you're, if you're a Gaethje, it makes sense of, hey, I want to get that fight back. I didn't fight well that night. There was a lot of things that were working against me. I want to win against him. It makes sense.
Yeah. Look, I would lean more towards that fight as well, but let me just say this. Ali Abdul, I don't know how you say his last name, Abdulaziz. But Ali, his manager, Justin Gaethje's manager, said that Justin will be fighting someone he's not fought before. So that just leaves me Arman Sarukian. Now, whether that's true or not, which I actually believe it is, I think Arman will be getting the title shot. And I think you're going to see Max and probably Paddy Pimblett. That'd be a huge fight, probably over in the UK somewhere for Max over there.
Why has Max always got to travel? Because he lives in Hawaii.
Because we're not doing any fights in Hawaii. They don't.
That's it.
They don't have the venue for it. If they were to build a venue, I bet you there would be promotions that would do more. Like remember
absolutely.
when we did shows there? That truck that they had there from the
1940s.
Yeah, they left it there during World War II. They're like, no, let's just leave it here whenever coming back. That's why a lot of times that the Pro Bowl, they stopped doing it there because they just couldn't do the broadcasting. It was too difficult because they didn't have a truck there. And then it cost too much money to get trucks over there and bring them back and all of these things. Yeah, I mean, Arman versus Gaethje in LA and Los Angeles would make a lot of sense. UFC 331, somebody said that would make a ton of sense. I don't know if it'd be that soon, to be honest. That's only two shows away.
That's not going to. It will not be at 331.
Yeah, it won't be at 3. I think Justin's going to enjoy.
Justin will not be fighting for a good, probably not till 27.
Yeah. I could see maybe a December, but I doubt it. I want to say January, February.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. That first big pay-per-view, maybe, or second big pay-per-view. Yeah, they're going to let Justin sit on it for a while. He worked hard to get there. He's been there so close several times. Came up short. He had the interim title, but they're going to let him enjoy this. If anyone deserves it, he deserves it.
He absolutely does.
And if they can stick it to Arman a little bit longer, they will. That's this poor guy.
I don't know. I honestly think that Arman has worked himself back.
Yeah.
Everything and you got to give him credit. He did a lot of that himself, and he put himself in positions to, be more fan friendly, get people to laugh at some of his stuff, get involved with, RAF and really, just make people take note of, hey, this guy's good. And I'm not even watching him in the MMA and he's good. Yeah.
Max, I guess apparently Dave Sandine says that Max said Gaethje said he would like to sit out until 2027. Makes sense.
It sure does.
That was so much going on. That lead up to the White House card zapped your energy so much. There's so much publicity that went into that. And for you to have the performance of a lifetime in the moment that you needed it the most, to represent your country, to represent you and your family, to walk away with something that's been fucking evading you for so long, you finally got that belt, the undisputed title, man. Enjoy it. Let the dust settle. You got Max. I would love to see Max and Arman, or I'd like to see Max and Paddy. I think Max and Paddy be the fight to make, though. And Arman could just stay busy doing Roth wrestling, which he wrestles this weekend coming up against Colby Covington.
Yeah.
That match is coming up. So that's going to be a good matchup. Looking forward to that.
How about Merab beating Cejudo?
John, I was in shock.
I
was in shock when I saw him go up 8-0, and then with like seconds left in the first, Merab gets a 2-point takedown.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it was just like chipping away, chipping away.
Big chips though.
And
all of a sudden he's just Henry got tired.
He's exhausted.
Just got tired.
Exhausted.
But that's part of wrestling, and that's part of what Merab brings.
So many guys that come up like didn't even look like he trained for it.
Yeah.
I was like, he might not. Now I know that Merab can push the pace on you.
Yeah.
But like I felt like Henry should have been able to at least defensively wrestle to like stuff some takedowns. And because he was up by so much. 8 by the end of the he was up by 6.
8-2.
It was 8-2 by the end of the first. I mean, he should have been able to, but look, I know it's easier said than done. I've been out there and wrestled. That's fucking torture. This guy's going 100 miles
when
an
you're
hour
tired and he keeps on shooting, it's like,
yeah. And now Henry's got no leverage whatsoever to say, Merab, let's do it again. He's got no leverage. I've lost you inside the UFC cage. I've lost you on the wrestling mat. Just like, what the fuck?
That's it.
Paddy Pimblett and BSD. John, I had so many people telling me I was stupid for betting on Paddy Pimblett to win by submission. And you and I talked, you said you thought BSD would get the takedown and you thought Paddy would get the takedown. You said whoever gets the takedown is probably going to end up winning the fight. Yeah. Well, BSD got the takedown and Paddy got the submission.
I don't know if he got the takedown.
It was it was almost.
He was attempting the takedown and Paddy said, "Oh, Look where your head's at. Oh, watch this. And I got to get one of the things that people, I don't think they realize with that Darce choke. And, like if you're belly down on that Darce, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good place to be.
Especially with your arm flared out a little bit.
Yeah.
And his arm was, yeah.
Absolutely. And you don't want him to be able to turn you, because if he can turn you now, he can really increase the pressure with his body weight and everything. It really creates more of a squeeze. But Paddy was so flexible. He ended up in a position with that, holding onto that Darce, bringing his leg up over. It almost looks like it, it's now the new, I heard he's calling it the pad thai. I love
that's awesome.
It is, because I was going to call it the Scouser squeeze or something like that, right? But I mean, the position he ended up in, he's bringing his leg up, it almost looks like a Peruvian, and so you're going, but it increased the choke, having his leg where he put it on top.
Yeah,
it increased the pressure on it, which put the more pressure on St. Denis' neck, and to the point where he goes out, and you look and you go, man, that's freaking incredible, because just the ability to catch that and to have it in that position. St. Denis doing the right thing, not turning, and he's able to figure out a way to make it still work. Mm-hmm. I mean, just a beautiful submission victory by Paddy Pimblett.
Gave me flashbacks of Tony D'Souza.
Yeah.
Hitting the Peruvian necktie. Yeah. He had the Darce position. He had that Darce position, threw the leg over the back, and he kind of trapped that other arm kind of with his leg as well, and just kind of sat back and just gave the squeeze. You could take a look from the side angle when they were showing him give the squeeze. His face he was giving it like he was taking a shit.
He's putting a lot of pressure.
He was.
But for everyone, and this is, you take a look and the way that arena was for Paddy. And the way, when he was walking out and, Paddy the baddie, and there people are going, and you look and you go, man, he's got people. Yep. He's got people.
God, I love it.
Turning on to him, man. He's got it going right now. So it's like, way to go, brother, man. You coming off of a very tough defeat against, Justin for that interim title. It didn't go your way. And you went out there against a tough dude, and man, you fucking put a stamp on it with that beautiful submission. So congratulations to him.
You know what scared me throughout the whole week is watching him smile, take it all in. And I was like, is he overconfident because so many people have been patting him on the back because he was able to go the distance with Justin? And I thought he had moments in that fight where one time he did rock Justin Gaethje in that fight.
Yeah.
And the fact that Ilia Topuria, undefeated fighter, loses the way he did to Justin, couldn't take the damage that Paddy took. And I felt like he maybe was going in with too much confidence of, look, he's the champ now, and I'm I've done all this, I've been there. And then I thought maybe he came in with too much confidence, but I felt like now when I look back, I'm like, he was just taking it all in.
Yeah.
He's like, I really am this good. Justin Gaethje went out there and beat Ilia Topuria, beat him down. Okay. Yeah. And he's like, and I went the distance with this guy in a 5-round battle. Yeah. Right. He's like, and then not only did I go the distance with him, he's like, sure, I look like shit, but I had moments in the fight too. So did Ilia Topuria. Let's not say he didn't. He did. Absolutely. But he just felt like I'm going to take it on. I deserve to be here. I think that he, even in his own mind, was maybe questioning himself. Do I deserve to be in the top 5? Look, I got to win over Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler. You know what I mean? Like, he was probably thinking to himself, like, people are saying I don't deserve to be here because I fought these guys. Then the way he fought Justin, he's like, sure, I didn't win. Then Ilia loses the way he did. I do deserve to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything I saw of him on that stage at the press conference, he was just smiling, listening to Conor talk. He's like, I'm on the stage right now with Conor McGregor. This is fucking wild. It's gone full circle, right? Like, for him, it was like one of those moments. It was a memorable moment. It was a memorable moment for him for the rest of his life. And he took it all in, and he went out there and gave the performance of a lifetime to get it done that fast, that quick, with something that no one's ever seen before. And just, it was awesome. It was awesome. When he walked out, he got a pop bigger than I think anybody.
He got a huge pop.
Yeah.
Huge pop.
Baddie the baddie. I'm going to go walk. I'm running around the house.
He's going to be doing just doing this thing.
That's the new dance. Not this thing, not the glizz nuts thing. I don't know what that one's called.
Not the billionaire
strut.
strut.
Not that one. No, it's gonna be this one now. It's gonna be this one. I'm gonna do the Patty the Batty dance around the house.
Well,
I thought great performance. Unfortunately for BSD, not much was shown. He tried to get the takedown, got reversed. I was surprised that he was able to. That he got kind of like ripped down by the front headlock, and then he tried to roll through. And Patty's like, "No, come here, son.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom, put your back flat to the ground."
Yeah, which made him turn again, which had him in a bad spot. But yeah, that's one of those you look and you go, everything went the way it was supposed to, because I did think that Saint Denis would try for the takedowns early.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Patty did a great job of looking at that one opportunity. Let me grab that. Let me lace this on. He does. You see Saint Denis try to turn out of it, and it's too tight. Mm-hmm. And then he realizes, oh, I got a belly down. He does. And then Patty does something with it that you look and you go, very slick, man. It's remember when AJ McKee did the McKeatine?
Yeah.
To call what you look and you go, hey, sometimes guys pull off things that you go, man, what in the hell? Mm-hmm. How did he make that work that way? But they can. And it just shows how well versed Patty is on the ground. We talked about it. His ground game is good. Mm-hmm. It's solid.
Yep. He's coming into his own. He's discovering who he is as a fighter and as a person, I think. And it's showing out there. He's just so relaxed, so composed, and those guys are so hard to fight.
Well, John, I think, and I do think that the way that he got into the UFC, because he was offered a UFC contract while he was fighting in Cage Warriors, and he turned it down. Same as Yuri turned it down when he was fighting over in Ryzen for a while and stuff. And it's like, I want some more fights. That shows maturity. And if you take a look at the Patty Pimblett that came in and fought his first 2 fights in the UFC, it is not the same guy.
No,
he has grown leaps and bounds and is way, way advanced at this point.
Well, he's focused. I mean, he's married now. I believe he has a child now. He's focused. He understands, what's at stake. Like, you got to provide for your family. I saw something where he made like $850,000.
Good for him.
Good for you.
Good for him.
Good for you.
He also got fight of the night. He got performance of the night.
Absolutely deserved it.
There's some extra bonus in there.
Absolutely deserved it. I feel like somebody who deserves a lot of credit, which I don't normally give him credit, because I just overlook him, John, is Mario Batista.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I go back and I want, he was having a hard time getting over the hump of the top 2-3 guys. Loses to Umar Nurmagomedov. Okay, and then he lost to who else did he lose to? Another top guy. Damn it.
He beat Pat, and when you beat Patchy, that was a good moment.
Vinicius Oliveira. He beats Corey Sandhagen, beats Vinicius Oliveira, but he loses to Umar, and before that, he lost to Corey Sandhagen before that.
Yeah.
So, but like he's had wins over certain guys that he just seemed like he wins over like Corey Sandhagen and Vinicius Oliveira. I didn't give him enough credit on the Vinicius Oliveira thing. I was like, Vinicius cuts too much weight, gassed out, I didn't give him any credit. The Patchy Mix thing, he stood and he banged with him a little bit from the outside. Patchy's stand-up just was not on his level.
Nope.
But I noticed in this fight that Mario Batista's striking is good, but he's also got power that you have to respect. And Corey got hit with a couple of shots in the first round, and Corey's like, oh, this guy's got pop. And I didn't recognize that when I'd seen him fight before. And even though I think he dropped Umar in their fight, or he wobbled him a little bit in their fight, Umar and Batista. I think Batista rocked Umar in that fight at one moment. I think it was in the second round or the first round. One of the rounds.
I don't remember that, but I will say that, he as a fighter, and you can take a look, his whole cadre and his training group with John Crouch and Ben Henderson, they're doing a great job with him, because he fights smart fights. He is always looking to make someone fight his fight. He doesn't fall into their traps. And that's what he was, trying to do in that first round with Corey. Corey was trying to get into these little bits where he would, open up with multiple shots and everything. And you saw Batista doing a great job of, he would avoid, get out, and then come back and make Corey have to readjust, reset, go again. And when he finally got his hands into him, and there was a couple of good little scrambles in there. When he got that Suloev stretch, it was close. It was starting to really, lengthen out. And obviously it was enough to where it popped Corey's hamstring and stuff. But man, people don't realize how dangerous that damn submission is.
Yeah.
And how difficult it is to get yourself out. And, he just lost it on it. But, that first round, you look and you go, you've got to give that round to Batista, especially off of the way that round ended. He had him in trouble.
Yeah.
I'll give Corey a ton of credit coming back in the second round. I thought he fought a great second round, and then I give Batista just credit in the third round, because a lot of times when you have a second round like he did that was tough, you start to lose, focus. Your morale starts to, that's kind of slipping away from you. And he sucked it right back in, and then he went back after him and went to his strength and put Corey down on the ground and just performed the way you want your fighter to perform. And I give him nothing but credit. And I give his team credit too.
This is why the meta rankings right now can't be taken serious. Corey Sandhagen just loses to Mario Batista. Mario Batista's at number 7. Corey's at number 4. Then you go to the media rankings, right? They're in the media rankings. And then you've got Mario Batista at number 4 and Corey Sandhagen at number 5.
Okay.
Like that makes more sense.
I'm okay with that one.
That's why we're not okay with the meta and the AI stuff just yet. Okay. We need obviously some adjustments.
They need a smarter AI.
But you've got Petr Yan right now as the champion. Merab obviously waiting for that title shot. He's going to wait, and deservedly so.
Absolutely.
Deservedly so. And Umar's fighting Song Yadong. And you got Mario Batista coming off the win. Sean O'Malley coming off the win. Yeah. Do we potentially see a Mario Batista and Sean O'Malley fight? I don't think we do, because they're both out of that Arizona gym.
And they used to train.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see that fight. Not that the UFC wouldn't put it together. They would.
They'll try.
But that's going to be one that I think both fighters would try to stay away from. Mm-hmm. But I do think that, Umar is the guy that's sitting there kind of on the outside right now. He's got a tough position, because he's got Merab sitting there, because he's got the loss to Merab. Petr Yan is the champ, and Merab truthfully deserves that shot back. I always look, and if you've been a champion the way Merab was, and you won all those fights, and you took fights, so many fights in a year, he deserves a rematch. That's what I'm looking for. So, right now, Sean O'Malley, Umar, that's not a bad fight.
Umar's fighting Song Yadong coming up. They have that coming up, I think, in the next couple weeks. So that fight comes available. The winner of that fight maybe fights. Umar has already fought Batista, so if Song wins, maybe I don't know. There's really, like you said, Sean O'Malley and Umar kind of they probably should fight to see who fights the winner of Merab and Petr Yan somewhere in there. If Umar can get past Song Yadong, a lot's got to happen. Let's let the dust settle. But Batista's right there in that mix now, though. At number 4, you got Sean O'Malley at number 3, Umar Nurmagomedov at number 2, and Merab obviously at number 1, and Petr as a champ. Everyone's where they should be in that ranking system. Yeah. I feel like this weight class is exactly where everyone should be. Like you've got the right guys ranked where they should be after their current wins. Yeah. So
it doesn't matter who you put against who.
Yeah. To me, the 35-pound weight class is probably number 2 right now. I think 170 right now to me is the best weight class in the sport. But 135 is not disappointed.
135 is right
probably
there.
3 or 4 years. It's been about 3 or 4 years. 135 has really been making the uptick.
Years ago, we talked about 135 has taken over.
Mm-hmm.
You take a look. When it had it had Dominic, had Henry, had Chito Vera, and all these guys. O'Malley was in the mix. Petr Yan, Aldo was there. You look, you went, God damn it, it's just
Frankie
stacked.
Yeah, it had all these guys.
It was stacked.
Great performance. Great performance by Mario Batista. Great job by him, and great win. Because, like I said, that was the one bet that I lost. Was him. I thought Corey Sandhagen.
I don't blame you. I probably would have said I would have gone with Corey.
John. What I want also my takeaway from this was Corey Sandhagen. It didn't register to me watching Corey fight how reliant he is upon his kicks to set up his boxing, because he had his boxing and I know the legs hurt. I know it's hard to put weight on. I get all those things. I understand. But his combinations weren't there. His move, his switching stand and nothing. It just wasn't happening for him. Maybe it was because of the leg. He just didn't seem like his boxing was able to get going at all. Even when the kicks and the hamstring was gone.
Pulling his hamstring, tearing your hamstring. You just don't have the strength in the leg. And so I could understand how it will absolutely upset his balance, his power, his ability to push off of the leg. It's all gone. So he was in a bad spot from the end of the first round. That's why his second round was so impressive.
Brandon Royval, a winner I picked. Look, I had Dean Thomas and John Morgan up here going, look, I'm taking Lonnie Kavanaugh. Yeah. I was like, really? You are? They're like, yeah, and they also took Mario Batista, which they won that one. Let's not talk about that. All right, but the Lonnie Kavanaugh, they were on the Lonnie Kavanaugh bandwagon. I was on the Brandon Royval. A lot of people were writing off Brandon Royval because he's fought all the best guys. He's come up short against, the top guy at the times, whoever it was. Lonnie Kavanaugh being young, basically the new hot chick at school. Everyone's talking about her. He's a good-looking dude. Okay, I get it. He's very marketable. He's got good hands, got some power. He can wrestle. He's got a little bit of submissions. The kid's very talented. 27 years old.
Yes, he is.
But what I saw was just the inexperience.
That's exactly what it was.
When the fight was on the line, he gave up a full figure four instead of defending. He was comfortable with just giving the figure four. And I'm like, there's 2.5 minutes left. He's going to hold on to you. I mean, he went on to finish him, but simply put, though, he could have just hung out to the back and won the fight. And it showed there was moments where he could have got out of that before it even got put in, and he didn't do it. He didn't fight like it was like, hey, all or nothing. This is the third round, dude. Like that was the inexperience that I saw out of him. Extremely talented. Do I think he'll be champion? Not sure. Do I think he has a chance to get into that top 1 or 2 position? Absolutely. Do I think he'll fight for a title? Absolutely. I think he will. Absolutely.
I agree with you. I thought he actually, although he got the loss, his stock still went up because it was the way that he performed, especially in the second round. Because in the second round, John Morgan and Angelo were going, I told you. You were going, shit.
Yeah.
But when you can put, that type of round together on a guy as good as Brandon Royval, it's saying something about how good you are.
Yeah.
Because, any fighter can make a mistake and put themselves in a bad position, and get themselves back out. But you can keep on putting them back into bad spots in the fight. That's saying that, you're talented. And Lonnie Kavanaugh is good, and he's going to be even better in a couple of years. And so, although I know that the loss sucks, this is not going to hurt him at all. His stock is still going to rise even from this fight, based upon he proved that he can fight with the very best, because Brandon Royval is one of the very best. And like you said, Brandon's fought everyone. He's gotten some wins against some and some losses against other, but man, the guy has proved that he is, top of the food chain when it comes to the flyweights and stuff. And so I look at this right now, great win for Brandon Royval. And really, I love the fact that he went for the finish. He did not just hold on.
Love it.
He went to go. I want to put this to bed and make no doubts about, this fight. He did that, and great win for him. But Lonnie Kavanaugh, I really believe people are now going to take note of him.
Absolutely. I think 100% they should. Yeah. Look, he got a win over Brandon Moreno. Lonnie Kavanaugh did.
Yeah.
But he had the loss to Charles Johnson by KO. Got caught, which whatever. But his ability to get in there right after the loss and beat Brandon Moreno it said a lot about who he was as a person, as a fighter, as a competitor. Then he comes in and he fights Brandon Royval. Brandon Royval is a guy that I think he got so much confidence from the Joshua Van fight, even though he lost. He got so much confidence from that fight, going like, I can just dog through these guys. This guy's a dog. I'm a dog. And he looked, for me, if I was in his position to fight Lonnie Kavanaugh, I'd have been like, you have not been into deep waters like the way that I can drag you right now. Yeah. This style of fight you're not made for this style of fight. And that's not what happened, but he was trying to get it there. Brandon Royval was. He was trying to get him to get out of his comfort zone, of make him fight that grimy, dirty fight, like just that back and forth battle where he had to bite down the mouthpiece or dig deep. Well, he ultimately made a mistake that gave him his back, got the
Yeah.
figure 4, and then that just basically solidified him winning the fight. But then he went for it. Like you said, he went for the finish, got the finish, loved it. Loved every second of it. That's a big performance, though, by Brandon Royval. Sadly, he's like number 3 on the list of trying to get to a title shot. You got Pantoja next, then you got Manel Kopp after that, and then you've got him. You know, and so he's kind of sadly trickled down on the list. So he'll have to fight at least one more time before he gets a title shot. Yeah. So that was a great fight. But let's talk about my boy King Green, baby. King Green took a fucking ass whooping and kept on coming. That guy, holy shit, what a fight, what a comeback. I thought, to me, that stole the show. I thought the Lonnie Kavanaugh and Brandon Royval fight was a great fight. But to me, the way that King Green came back, I felt like he stole the show.
Especially at his age. Let's just be honest. You know, because, you know, I got to say Bobby, I'm sorry. You know, but Bobby King Green, I mean, like he has always been up for, you know, putting on a performance and stuff. And Terrance was putting it on him, you know, and Bobby was in bad positions through a lot of it and just, you know, kept talking. That's what I love about it. You can see him talking at times and stuff. But, you know, you got to, for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, he is getting the shit. He was the nail. He was getting the shit beat out of him. And things were not looking good. But for 30 seconds, he was the hammer. And that's what it took for him to get the win. And you got to go with the body shots. You know, you saw him fold. Yeah. You know, due to the body shots. And people, you have to understand what that body shot feels like. Yeah. It is a horrible feeling. And it's, you know, when people go, why did he go down? He goes down because you can't control your legs. You know, and McKinney just, he's that guy. He's you know, he's the 100-meter, you know, sprinter. He comes out and he
maybe
is
40 meters, but yeah,
it might be a 40-yard dasher. But I mean, he is just absolutely the fast twitch muscle king and puts on, you know, just is trouble for everyone in the first, you know, couple of minutes of the fight. But it starts to, he got tired beating on Bobby. Let's just be honest. He got a little bit exhausted, and that's what ended up, you know, putting him in a bad spot. And Bobby comes after him, and you know, Bobby's always been able to, you know, he's got good hands. He can swat, and the body shots was smart. It's a, you know, right way. You got someone's getting tired, go to their body because it only makes it worse. And I know that, you know, McKinney later on, you know, talked about the stoppage. It shouldn't have been stopped. Well, you're the one that stopped. You stopped fighting.
I was going to ask you about the stoppage.
Yeah, he stopped fighting is the problem. And when you just are in that position and the referee tells you, you know, move, and you just stay in that position, you know, taking shots, you're asking. We tell you in the back, when I tell you to move, I want you to at least try to move your position, try to take away what he's attacking with. I don't care if you're successful, but show me you're trying. That tells me that I want to be in this fight. And when you don't do that, I'm going to stop the fight. I've told you in the back, and that's what he did. So, you know, to sit there and to complain about it, I look and I go, I know, you know, what you were told, and you got to move. You know, you can't just let the situation overwhelm you where now after it's stopped and no one's hitting me, I can sit there and say, I could have gone farther. I'm sure you could have, but you weren't doing it at the time.
Fans and fighters and media, we all have to remember that we all get the same speech in the back. You got to keep moving. You got to keep trying to advance your position. We have to remember that. Like, oh, there's only 1 second left. It doesn't matter. As a ref, you can't base it off of how much time
does not
left.
matter.
Yeah, it's the only time the time matters is when I'm supposed to stop because the round ends. That's it. That's the only time. Like, round starts, round ends. That's when it matters. That's all. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm trying to stay out of it. I mean, if you're the ref, I would imagine. So I did look at him like, Terrance needed to make some sort of effort to move, to get guard. If he would have just turned into him,
just turn it, dude. Put your back to the canvas and the cage.
Yeah,
you know, at least it's showing that you're facing. I'm going to face my opponent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he just had his head buried to the mat, his hands over his head, trying to cover up. He didn't even try to like put his back to the fence and stand back up. He didn't try to like just bring one leg up and try to get up. He didn't do any of that. And I was like, man, what is going on? And the funny part, Angelo and I did a show this morning for Bad Takes, and he goes, That dude was like, what? There's only 10 seconds left and I'm not losing? Fuck, let me figure this out. Let me throw this fight out the door. He's like, he's like, I'm not doing round 2. I'm getting out of here. Like, he has a way of, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, it is.
I appreciate that about him.
Yeah, you have to. But he definitely has, there's a blueprint that's out there on him, and he's going to have to figure out what he needs to do to start to change people's perceptions as far as how do I attack this guy? Because everyone knows, hey, I gotta be careful, and I'm going to go through some hell here in the first, minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of this round, because this guy is an athlete. He's fast. He's strong. He's got it all.
Yeah.
But as long as I can make it through that, then I can start to put it on him. He's got to figure out a way to make that scenario not true.
Another super chat. You got Steve M 7736 is asking, do you think the UFC will ever have a union?
Absolutely not.
This is a tale as old as time.
No,
it's never gonna
happen. First off, it's the fighters would end up having to come together, because the UFC is not going to put together a union for them. The union works against the UFC. And so the fighters would have to do that, which means that your champions and the people that are making the most money would have to step away from making money. Yeah. And that ain't going to happen.
The UFC didn't go to New York for the longest time because they didn't want to deal with the
unions.
What do you think they're going to go ahead and start a union for their own company?
That's
the last thing they're doing. There was a guy that got a lot of flack the night of the fight. Why is this former welterweight / middleweight fighting at 205? You look fat. You look out of shape. You're breathing heavy. John, I thought he looked good.
He did.
Napping the jab, landing the hand, broke his jaw. Like, what are we talking about? What else do I got to do?
This is what, look at Robert Whittaker did get tired, but it was an adrenaline dump tired, because he was in a position where I am now moving up in weight class. I have to show people. And he came out and he was throwing a little too hard in the beginning. He got into a couple of grappling exchanges, and he's pushing against a guy that's very strong, and it happens. He did, he sucked some air down in that first round, but you watched him in this corner, taking deep breaths, slowing himself down, and then watch what he did in the. He wasn't tired at the end of the second round, was he? No. Why? Because the adrenaline dump went. He's now just fighting his normal fight. He's throwing shots. He's throwing some hard, some not, and he's setting things up. He's moving in and out. He was bouncing around. He looked good, Josh. Yeah. He looked really good. And everyone that I've heard that have said, oh, he needs to go back to middleweight. Bullshit. I think he's going to have an absolute, just a renaissance of his career at 205, because he's going to be very fast for a lot of these guys. Yeah, look, Krylov is not a slow fighter. He had problems with his speed. He was getting just beat down with a jab.
I know.
I mean, it was lighting him up, and he had no answer. Oh my God! How many times? And you look and you go, hell, he can't even see it coming. Yeah. It was that bad. And Bobby ends up, he's got his hands down low, so it is difficult to see it when it's coming, just based upon where it's at. So he's going to give people problems based on he's not a huge frame, but he does carry a lot of muscle. He does, and he is strong. And once he gets relaxed at that weight and carrying that weight, his speed has carried over where he's the faster fighter. He's going to do well. The light heavyweight division is not a great division. Let's be honest.
No, it's the worst. I think it's worse than the heavyweight division right now.
Well,
and the reason why I say it is because now you've got Gable Stevenson, you've got Josh Hokick, you've got
a couple of guys that come giving it life. Yeah,
they've given a little shot in the arm right now.
Josh Hokick definitely has.
The light heavyweight division has got middleweights that are coming up. You got RDR coming up to 205. Yep. You got Paulo Costa had success at 205, and now you got Robert Whittaker, who's had success at 205. That should tell you that 85 pounders coming up having success at 205, a 20-pound jump. That lets you know that weight class is not good.
Well, and that's the whole point. And I think that's what I think he's smart enough. He's looked at it and said, I think I can do well here. And I agree with him. I think he's going to be happier. He's going to have better performances. And his speed has always been something people don't give him credit for how fast he really is. Mm-hmm. And he's going to do well in the 205s. He's going to be a top-ranked fighter in the 205s.
John, right now he's a top-ranked fighter in the 85. He'll be a top-ranked fighter in the 205. Let me just tell you this, though. Would you rather be number 5 at 205 or number 5 at 185 and 20 pounds heavier and I can eat whatever the fuck I want every camp? Yeah. I'm going to still be number 5.
Hello.
Even if I'm never getting to the championship or I don't get to fight for the title, I'm still going to be able to eat what I want and go into my fights feeling 100%, feeling like I wasn't depleted during camp, trying to lose that 20 pounds. I will take 205 every single time for Bobby Knuckles right now at this time. Yeah. The other part of that is he probably saw the writing on the wall and he goes, and I was saying this before you jumped on because you were late, but I will say this is that there's a traffic jam at the top at 185. You got Chimaev potentially getting an automatic rematch. You've got Imavov, who's been waiting for a year now. Okay. And then DDP, if he beats Kamaru Usman, he's right back in the mix. Yep. There's a traffic jam there. There's no traffic jam at the top of 205.
I agree.
That's now you've got RDR kind of making his way up there. He hasn't fought yet at 205 in the UFC, but he's gonna, and then you've got Paulo Costa, who's right there as well. I think he's number 5 or 6 or somewhere at 205. Yeah, he's number 4. Okay, and you've got Jamal Hill going to heavyweight.
He's going to heavyweight.
Yeah, you've got Yuri Prochazka, Ankalaev, Alex Pereira. There's fights to be had there for Bobby.
But Alex is not a light heavyweight anymore.
Yeah, he's going to stay at probably heavyweight, I would imagine. So he's gone as well. So you've got Ankalaev, you've got Prochazka, you've got Olberg, who's the champion. You got Costa, Jamal Hill's gone. Khalil Roundtree just had to pull out of his fight with Ankalaev. So now you got Guskov, who's fighting Ankalaev now coming up. You got Dominic Reyes, Ozdemir, and you got Mirza Khan. You got guys in there that make for some good fights for Bobby Knuckles. I will take that fight with him, with RDR, with Paulo Costa. All 3 of those guys can make some good fights in that division. This division needs them. Yep. They need to have some new blood in there because I'm getting tired of watching 44-year-old Jan Blachowicz. Okay? And I can't remember the last, and nothing against him, but I haven't seen him fight in almost a year probably. Yeah, so I don't know what he's doing. So it's like, okay, you're 44 and I haven't seen you fight in a year. If you're not active, which normally older fighters are not active, then I lose interest. I lose interest in what happens with your career. I want to see these guys stay active and stay busy and not have to kill themselves to get to the weight. So I'll see them fight more often if they get to eat whatever they want.
Yeah, I totally agree. You're naming the 3 guys of, DeRitter, Paulo Costa and Whittaker, and I can put them with anybody right now. Mm-hmm. That it's an actual fighter in the light heavyweight division, and they can get a win.
Yeah.
Dominic Reyes, I really like as a fighter, but put him and Paulo Costa together. That's a good fight. It'd be an interesting fight. The speed of Costa is going to cause Dominic some problems.
I will take right now, because he's there. Robert Whittaker's at number 13. I will take Volkan Ozdemir and Robert Whittaker.
Okay.
Ozdemir may try to wrestle. I doubt it. He'll just keep it on the feet. He's mainly a kickboxer. Okay. And Robert Whittaker will keep it on the feet. He may try to wrestle a tiny bit. If the takedown comes easy, I'll take it. But it'll probably just let him back up and then get back to the feet. Like that makes for a very good fight. There's other fights in here I would love to see as well. But Ozdemir and Bobby Knuckles is good. I would like to see Bobby Knuckles in Khalil Roundtree.
There you go.
That'd be a great fight.
It would be.
So, Khalil coming off, he's injured right now. He had to pull out of that fight with Ankalaev. So maybe by the time he gets ready, maybe Bobby will be ready by then.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, there is some fights to be had there. I think that weight class definitely needs a shot in the arm. All of us have been talking about it for a while. Gable Stephenson's now 4-0. Okay, he was 3-0 going in the UFC. We talked about that leading up to this fight. He's 4-0 now. What did you think of his performance? And what do you think about people like shitting on him? Like people were shitting on him like, oh, he didn't get a guy out of there in 30 seconds. The guy's a bum and this and that. The guy was a lot tougher than I actually thought he was going to be.
The guy was throwing fucking heat.
Yeah.
And here's the thing I will say. First off, Gable looked good. Okay. Now, did he fight smart? No. Okay. There you go. I'm not going to say that I thought Gable fought a real smart fight. And he's going to have to, figure out there's a difference between wrestling on a mat and wrestling in MMA. And he's going to have to alter his wrestling a little bit because he actually got deep on one and just the fence caused him a problem and he broke off. And you look and you go, you got to get used to, having that fence and bouncing him off of the fence and all those different little things that, are going to help you and stuff. But I give him credit. And I said this, off of his third fight. He proved in the third fight to me, he's a fighter. He does not back off when he gets hit. And he didn't back off in this one. He got hit. There was a couple, he got touched and he went and, he does throw heat. I give him that. I loved, he was putting a whole lot of juice on some of those things, but if you are someone that is looking for an exciting entrance into your heavyweight division, dude, you can't ask for anything more. He put on a great performance. He went after his opponent. He didn't wrestle at all, really. I mean, he went for the one takedown and he let go of it, and then decided I'm going back to, banging this out. And he created all the offensive moments in the fight, really, and dominated it. Just because he didn't get somebody, he didn't get another professional fighter out in 30 seconds. Come on, man. Yeah. I mean, he is absolutely a shot in the arm for the UFC's heavyweight division. And once he gets it all together and he's able to combine all that tremendous wrestling that he does possess and gets all of it just meshing together, Josh, he's a problem.
Here, this is a good question by Mr. C informally. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. I don't know what the hell D220,000 is. I don't know what that is. I know it's not $20,000, but
20,000 leagues under the sea.
Is John's style good? Is a good fit for Gable's body type?
No, I don't think John Jones is going to try to make Gable fight like John did.
I saw little flashes of it every once in a while.
That's because hold on. You're sitting there, you're saying that, and you look and you go, well, he was throwing a linear oblique kick to the leg and stuff like that. That's not a John Jones thing. Okay. That's a Mike Winklejohn thing. Okay?
Yeah,
Mike Winklejohn's the one that, I'm not saying that, John didn't do it. He did, but that was off of the coaching that he got from, the people in Albuquerque, and they're great coaches. And they utilize things that work in fights, and it works in a fight. But I don't, John used his length to such an extreme to keep people at bay, and his ability to control the range of a fight. Gable's not going to be able to do the same type of fighting style as John because he doesn't have the same frame as John. Let's be honest. Gable is what, 5'11", okay, maybe 6 foot as a heavyweight with a 75-inch reach. Okay, John Jones has an 84-inch reach. He can't be the same fighter. But if he can fight as smart as John Jones would fight and be able to adjust to things that are happening in the fight like John Jones, then he's going to prove that he's just a tremendous fighter.
My takeaways from him is that I think he'd be better suited with a coach like a Cain Velasquez. That style would be great for him because he's got faster hands than Cain. I think he's got probably a little bit more power than Cain. He's got a little bit better wrestling than Cain. He's probably a little bit better athlete than Cain. But Cain, I think, has a better. I haven't seen it yet. I can't say. Like, Cain had the mindset to get through anything.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's proven it time and time again.
Cain had lungs that came out of a.
That's the other part.
Whale.
Yes, that's the other part.
Okay.
But he has all the attributes to be the greatest, to be the best heavyweight probably we've ever seen. Yeah. That being said, I didn't like. I liked what I saw out of him, but I didn't
like the fact he didn't wrestle.
Yeah, it wasn't just that. I didn't like that he felt so confident on the feet that he just left his head in the center line, didn't move it at all, didn't move his head, his hands.
Those are all things that got to come, though, man.
Yeah,
that he's 4-0.
I have to remember he's 4-0.
That's it.
Yeah. I have to remember he's 4-0. But I would love to have seen him wrestle in a different way, snatch a single, dump, let him back up, like those kind of things. The way that DC would wrestle a little bit, the way Cain Velasquez would wrestle a little bit, shooting doubles against these guys, leaving your head on the outside, leaving yourself available, vulnerable to the guillotine. In heavyweight, it's very difficult. These guys are so strong, they rip your fucking head right off. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then not moving your head offline. That'll get your ass knocked out real quick.
Yeah, I will.
And the whole thing can go bye-bye real quick. Like all of those things scare me when I was watching him. I'm like, because I want to see him succeed. That's the thing is I'm not trying to tear him down. I'm just saying I want to see him succeed. And what I saw was there was a recipe for disaster that I saw potentially could have happened. And it will potentially happen against better fighters if he's not careful. He needs to fix those things when he gets back to the gym right away.
Yeah.
So,
but again,
I don't want to see him overconfident. I want to see him still working, still grinding,
again.
still
If I took you back to your fourth fight, and
I was almost UFC champion by my fourth fight. In my mind,
in your mind, but you think about those, and you think about the things that you're training and you're trying to do, and to put everything together. As a veteran fighter that had over 30 some fights and stuff. Yeah, head off the center line. All these, it just becomes part of who you are and what you do. When you're 4-0, it's not. It's not. There's so many things that you're thinking of in there. It's one of the last things that comes about. So I just look and go, look, he's young. I think the UFC is smart enough to know exactly what they have, on hand there, and they're going to be smart about who they put him against, and they're going to take their time with him, and I think they're going to, be pleased with what ends up occurring with Gable Stevenson.
I hope so. We have potentially Josh Hokett's already attacked him.
Oh, you see, and this is where you have enough people that are dumb enough to believe that Josh Hockett doesn't have a chance against Gable Stevenson in the fact that, Gable Stevenson was an Olympic gold medalist. And it's like, you're right. Gable's a better wrestler than Josh Hockett, but Josh Hockett can wrestle. And the one thing about Josh Hockett, he'll put his hands on you, and Gable.
Josh, I think, has got faster hands than Gable.
Gable is hittable right now.
Yeah.
So right now, if I was in Josh Hockett's corner, I said, you want to fight now? Let's do it now.
Yeah.
I don't want him 10 fights down the road.
Mayweather, Canelo.
I want him now. Yeah, there you go.
Canelo, get him while he's young.
That's
Zeke
it.
6629. I didn't forget about you, my man. I had to leapfrog you because it was relevant to what we were saying. John, Herb Dean's going through a rough patch. I think he's a great ref. What did you do when you had a rough patch? How did you get through it?
I think Zeke, you're right. He's in a rough patch right now, and I always sit there and I talk about everyone becomes the flavor of the month somewhere in their career, and this is Herb's flavor of the month. And the thing that you have to do, and I've talked to Herb, and I've walked him through certain scenarios and things like that, and you have to have the people that are going to tell you the truth, and you've got to take what they say and not just blow it off and say, I could, maybe, but I was thinking something. You just got to be able to sit there and say, I'm going to listen to what you say, and I'm going to take it all in, and I'm going to try to break it down to the point where I realize, okay, here's where I can make my changes. Here's what I can do different. And I think Herb's doing that. And you saw that, even the athletic commissions, Herb was, part of UFC 329, but you saw that he didn't have a whole lot of fights, and he didn't have any of the bigger fights. They actually brought Mike Beltran in. Mike wasn't scheduled to do that fight, and he ended up doing the Conor fight. And so part of that is,
I bet he was nervous as shit.
Mike's nervous all the time, man.
I love it.
He's awesome. But the whole thing of that's the athletic commission not punishing Herb. They're trying to take care of Herb. They're trying to put him in a position to, hey, just go do what you can do, be the referee we know you can be, and just go do your job. And we don't want you to have any of the real high pressure fight right now. Just get through this event and let's get things going in the right direction. And I think Herb is taking it well. Obviously, he's been in the position where he's had a lot of heat, but in the past, so he's used to it to a point. But he's human. He's like everyone else, and you get enough people, throwing stones at you, you start to want to throw stones back. And it's either that or you just bury your head and get crushed. So Herb is doing the right thing. He's looking at the way he officiates. He's looking at, are people starting to read that, I am a little lenient, that I don't like to affect the fight. Maybe I'm going to start affecting the fight more. He's looking at all those things just like he should. And that's just the part of the growing process of being an official. You're never, ever going to know everything as far as, have all the answers, and you've got to always be willing to change and evolve. And I think he is, and that's why Herb will end up being, the same great referee.
I agree. Adrian Yanez versus Cody Garbrandt. Is it time for Cody to hang it up?
I'm being honest. I really like Cody, and Josh, you can just, I did Cody's fight when he won the Bantamweight championship against Dominic. And if you go and you watch him in that fight, he was special in that fight. I mean, his speed was incredible. His ability to get in and out without being touched, and there was things that he was able to do in that fight that just showed that, look at where he's at. And he would get hit, and he had a good chin, at times, as far as, but he would be smart enough to back off of it. He can't do those same things now. And he's getting hit more than ever. And anytime he comes in to be offensive, he's taking shots. And, you're talking about bringing your head off the center line at times. And you look and you go, a veteran fighter like Cody, who's got all these fights behind him and his head is on the center line, that's saying, you know what, you're not getting, things done the way they need to be done for you to be successful. And he's been knocked out quite a few times, and he was hurt.
Yeah, he was.
He was hurt bad. I heard people saying that was a early stoppage.
No,
and I was like, no. Take a look at his face when he's going down.
That to me was not an early stoppage, but I thought the Kamaka fight was an early stoppage.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
You
look and you go, Kai, you got to give people the opportunity, but I'm not sure that fight was going to change.
I can't say it was gonna either, but you know what, the ref messed up, and we'll never know. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, well, I cannot wait to put you in a cage, baby.
I love it. Those of you guys don't know, I'm doing John's command class this weekend, the 17th and 19th. Cannot wait. I'm actually heading out to Vegas on Wednesday. Should get there on Thursday. I'm driving out with the family, and we'll be out there. But it's gonna be funny, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Long days. Is it 8 hours or 10 hours? Is it 14
it's gonna be more
hours?
than that. Oh yeah. Jesus. I only have I have 3 days. And so if it takes me 12 hours per day to give you the information that you're going to need, then I think that you deserve that. Now, maybe you don't, but the other people do.
You should just talk faster.
I talk fast as it is.
The Luke Riley fight. Luke Riley's good, man.
Oh my God.
Really good. It's good.
Really
I didn't realize how huge he was until he was in there with Kai Kamaka.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, you're big.
Yeah.
You're big for this weight. So there was also an illegal knee with Kong Wang and Tracy Cortez. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How do you think that she handled that?
As far as I thought she handled it well.
I thought she did, but should she have asked for time?
She did. She took her time.
More like she could have got the full time though. Did she not take the full fight? Yeah. No. Oh, that's right. Not a groin shot. Right. That's right.
Not a groin shot or an eye poke. There's a little bit of a difference.
Do you get 5 minutes for the eye pokes now? Because wasn't it just the groin shots for a while?
It used to be only the groin shots, but now with the eye pokes and stuff, we try to give the fighters that time. We'll give them up to 5 minutes. They're not in control of it in the same way, but we'll give them the 5 minutes.
Got it.
Yeah, and that was put in there because there was too many times you saw people being rushed on an app, and it's like, dude, give the guy a chance to clear out his eye. It's not a good position to be in. But I thought Tracy, she took it well. I thought it was handled the right way. It was just, I don't know, from the beginning of that fight at the start, Tracy actually did her best in the beginning, and then it just systematically started to fall apart. And it was that Wang was able to get the range on her, and you never saw Tracy being comfortable in the range that fight was being fought at.
Yeah.
And it really, it was telling as far as what was, happening as far as that. So, just a tough fight for Tracy.
Yeah. If she's not going to wrestle, then she's just a normal female fighter.
Yeah.
She doesn't have fast hands. She's got some pop and some power to her.
Yeah.
But she's also not big for the weight class.
Nope. She's tough.
Thick. She's tough, But you can't be a champion off of just being Mexican tough.
No, that's it.
And it shocks me because like whoever's running her camp needs to tell her like, you have good wrestling. You have good enough wrestling to at least get this fight to the ground. Let's work on your ground and pound. Let's work on your transitions to the back. Let's work on you getting the mount and doing damage with some 12-6 elbows. Let's work on the things that we know we have control over. Yeah. Right now, your boxing and your speed is not sure you can do it, but you don't want
not against Wang, she can't.
Yeah, you don't want that to be your main source of income. I mean, you're going to starve here soon. So, I was very disappointed in the fact that she decided not to wrestle really at all. But for me, one of the things, there was a couple fights earlier on the card, but I want to just talk about this real quick, John. I'm watching the fight in my car, headed back to the house, and all I hear is Damian Pinas. Pinas is doing this. Pinas is doing that. Pinas has got to do this. I like to see when Pinas does that. Like, could you? I had to text DC. I go, how are you saying this with a straight face? This guy has got it. He's tough as hell. He's got to be tough growing up with a name like Pinas.
I'll tell you what. Some things, it's a boy named Sue. And it's just, you look and you go, hey, I'm sure that he became a fighter early in his life based upon some dipshit like me saying, Pinas? And coming up with stuff, and so you look and you go, yep, he learned how to fight and make people go, don't fuck with my name.
I have a friend.
But I'll tell you what.
I have a really good friend. His middle name was Kim, and all the guys at the gym found out his middle name was Kim, and all we did was call him Kim after that.
Oh, dude. friends are wonderful, aren't they?
We are. We're great.
Yep, that's it. But I'll tell you what, he when he lands, he's got power.
Yeah.
And he definitely has got some pop. He's strong physically. You look at him and you go, yep, I can understand exactly why you carry the power you have. So he's going to be fun to watch. He really is.
Yeah, I think he will be. Let's talk about John Garza real quick, and we'll wrap it up on that on the UFC 329 and Basharat. But John Garza takes the fight on short notice, has a great performance.
He did.
A stud fighter. I'm already looking forward to seeing him fight again. I think his stock went up no matter what happened. Took the fight on short notice against an undefeated fighter and did wait.
And I've heard so many people talk, oh, he won that fight. No, he did not. Okay. But he fought a great fight. Mm-hmm. And he put on a great performance against a guy that we know is a dynamite fighter. Mm-hmm. And he's got great fucking wrestling ability, good stand-up. And man, he made a fight of it. And so exactly what you're saying, man, his stock went up. I don't give a shit about the loss. I want to watch that guy fight again. He went out there on short notice and put it to a guy, made a guy who we know is really good have to fight his ass off to get that win. So I thought John Garza was he was the surprise of the show for me. Absolutely. He was the one that I was like, wow, that kid, no matter what, I don't care if he lost, that kid is someone I want to watch again.
100%. Zeke 6629, thanks for the super chat. Here we go. It says, Josh, I want to bring back your dog walk picks. I know it's early, but who do you have for this weekend? I got Mitch beating the brakes off of Hooper. Ooh, I'm gonna need some time on this, man. Why don't you come back to me tomorrow when I do the breakdown with Dean Thomas and John Morgan? Give me a second. I'm still kind of reeling from the UFC 329 this weekend. And then I had Rose Namajunas on last week. That show should drop probably this week sometime. And I've got Dakota Decheva coming up as well, probably in the next couple days. So
she's awesome.
I've never talked to her. She seems like she's a little ball of fire, man.
I'll tell you what, man. She for a long time I was like, she's good in the same. She has got first off, she's a wonderful person. She got a mean streak in her, man. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, she is always working out. She is always, in shape. She is absolutely someone in the 125-pound weight class. You don't want to go up against her. Yeah. She is good.
John, I remember when she came onto the scene, I was like, she's a pretty face. She's got great stand-up, but can she stop takedowns? And then when they started mixing her in with, I think it was Jenna Bishop, and they bought her, and then who was the one that did she beat Liz or did she beat the other girl?
No, she didn't beat. She beat
The one that tested positive for steroids.
Yes.
She
I wanna
beat
say
her.
Talia
Yeah.
Santos.
Talia Santos.
Yeah.
She beat her. And the way she beat her
Bad.
beat her badly. And I was like, oh, she's 100% legit. 100% legit. Like the way she was beating these girls, she was actually getting some takedowns of her own. She was in the clinch, knees and elbows. It was
Her
just looking
knees
nasty.
are fantastic.
Yeah. You know, she's fighting Denise Killholtz coming up next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Denise is
And I love Denise, and that's just not a good fight for her.
no, but I think for Denise, she needs to know. She's, you know, she has a baby now. She's, you know, I know she just wants to see. She's coming back. I think this might be her, I wouldn't say retirement fight. If she wins, she'll probably fight again. But if she doesn't win, I mean, she may be like, hey, I had a good career. But she loves this. You can tell the way you talk. When you talk to Denise, beautiful. She reminds me a lot of Dakota Tsheva. Like you see her in person, they're so sweet, so nice, always smiling. But when they get inside that cage,
Killer.
they're like, screw you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hurt you.
It's on. I'm here to win. I'm here to destroy you. So yeah, absolutely. I think I'm looking forward to that fight. But yeah, we'll talk about having Dakota on hopefully in the next couple of days. Get that all wrapped up. So that'll be great. John, any other takeaways from this UFC 329?
Yeah, you know, I thought, you know, overall, look, it was a really good show. I know the UFC got lambasted because of the main event. They put together a great card. Unfortunately, an injury created, you know, a main event that just really didn't happen. But you got to look at all the other fighters. All the other fighters performed. They really put on great performances. Bobby Green, or King Green, I'm sorry, you know, the King man. His comeback was fantastic. Royval's finish was unbelievable.
Awesome.
Patty's submission was fantastic. It was a great show. I really enjoyed it.
I think a new star was born in Patty Pimlet.
Oh yeah,
like, he's been a star, but I think it just
he just elevated. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And I think Loney Kavanaugh will be back. I think he'll have some great performance. I think he'll end up getting a shot at the title down the road sometime.
Yeah,
he's got his work cut out for him, but I think he can do it. He's very talented, still young, 27 years old.
Yep,
just getting into his prime. He's fighting the best guy. He's got a win over a former champion named Brandon Moreno. He's got a loss to Brandon Royval. So like, it's give and take. That's the fight. That's the nature of the fight game. So there is something I wanted to ask you though. We'll probably try to wrap up here since it's been 2 hours. The numbers. A lot of people are trying to say this is going to do bigger numbers than the White House. And I said, absolutely not. I think this thing, what do you think the viewership will be on this? Let's just talk the Paramount US numbers. The Paramount US numbers for the White House were 17 million. What do you think the numbers are going to be just here, Paramount Plus? Do you think it'll do 17 million?
Which show?
This show, UFC 329?
329?
Yes.
No, it will not do the numbers that the White House did.
With Conor McGregor.
Will not do the numbers.
With Patty Pimlet.
Will not do the numbers.
I've had people trying to tell me this is going to do bigger. This will do the same, if not better numbers than the White House card. I was like, no, there's just no way.
No way.
Not even close.
No.
10 million, 12 million.
I would say that you'll be somewhere in the 10 million range. You got to look, they did an unbelievable gate.
Yeah, 25 million, right?
I mean, that's I think it was 26.
Yeah.
$26 million gate. That's a huge gate, you know? And so it obviously had people's attention and stuff, but you know, the White House thing it got everybody, you know, and it, almost in a, you know, some people want to say patriotic way or anything like that. It made people tune in based upon, I just want to see what they're going to do, you know? And although there are a ton of people that want to watch Conor and stuff, I would think that if they did 10 million, 12 million, they did great. You know, I don't think they're going to match that 17.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Look, when you take the UFC at the White House, that got everyone's attention because you want to know why. They wanted to see what the spectacle would look like in front of the White House. They wanted to see the flyover. They wanted to see the presentation. They wanted to see how the fighters walked out, where they walked out from. They wanted to see all of that. They wanted to see the shot from the White House into the ellipse. They cared about the actual promotion part of it all and the production side of it all, probably more than they cared about the fights.
Yeah.
This was about the fight. This was about the fights and the fighters. And that sample, but that amount of fan base just isn't there. Like we remember when we started doing the podcast, I said, we're growing really fast. I go, but we're going to hit a plateau. The plateau, and I even said I thought it would be at 125 to 150,000 people.
Yeah.
And sure enough, at 125,000, we just plateaued, right? In terms of viewerships, in terms of subscribers. And I said, like, it's going to happen because we were just growing so fast. Within like a year, we were already up to like in less than a year. We were probably like at 80,000. And I was like, man. And then within 2 years, we were at 100 something thousand. I was like, wow. And then I go, we're going to plateau. And I feel like the fans,
you put the mojo on us.
I put the jinx on us. But I'd seen other MMA podcasts, and they'd all plateaued around the same. And when it came to hardcore fans, we attract the hardcore fans. Conor McGregor attracts the casuals, so they'll get more than the normal Chimaev and Strickland. They'll get more than the Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary. They're going to get more than that because it's Conor McGregor. So you're going to get Conor versus whoever. Patty Pimblett, I think, has a chance to break into that next, potentially like Conor, but not quite there. Not going to be there. But it'll still be somewhere. It'll elevate to that level. He'll be in that Islam area, in that maybe not even Ronda, I don't think, era, but he'll be right there somewhere. That being said, I don't think there's enough hardcore fans or casual fans to even get it past 12, 13 million. They don't care. They just care about the fights. Yeah. The White House card, they cared about the production, the spectacle.
They cared about everything.
They cared about everything.
They wanted to see what was it going to be.
Yep. Because like you say about Mayweather and like you say about, Conor, they want to see him lose and they want to see him win. Some of them do. Some in the White House card, they wanted to see if there was something that would fail. And sure enough, when Hoka gave him that line, they ran with that, right? But they also, too, the ones that wanted to see it succeed, they got to see how great it was, how classy it was done. They saw all that. So the people that were negative wanted to take away with the negativity, and the people that were positive wanted to take away the positive moments. Yeah. But when you're talking about Conor, he only attracts the fight fans. That's it. He attracts the fight fans, the casuals, like the Halle Berrys, the Vince Vaughns, the people that are, they're fans, but they're only fans of you because of what you've done before in the past. That's all they care about. So I don't think you're going to get, I would be surprised if it broke 12 million.
Yeah, I'd
be surprised.
Yeah.
But I hope it does. I hope it does.
I hope it, look, anytime that the sport's growing, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. John, is there anything else you can think of?
Not really. No, there's nothing coming up that's that big a thing. Johnny
Eblin and Impa Kasanganay fight this weekend, this Saturday night.
That's a big time. Fight.
That's a good fight.
Rematch.
Damn good fight. That is a rematch. I had Impa on today. That show his show should be dropping here in the next day or two. I had Johnny on last week. Johnny looks at it as like, hey, like I kind of already felt what he can do. I got to wrestle more. I made a lot of mistakes in that fight. Also, too, I put this out there for both of them. It was the first fight that Bellator and PFL had merged for. It was my champion versus their champion. I said, both of you had the pressure to carry your organization on your back. I go, that is now gone. It's like gone. You guys now all just fight under PFL. And that's what you guys were doing before, but that wasn't the fill. And what's like, do you think that now that pressure is gone, does it change it? And both of them kind of just said, yeah, I never thought about it that way, but you're probably right. There was some pressure there. But I think both of them have a lot of respect for each other. Both of them have a lot of respect for what they can do. I tried to bait Impa into saying that, well, I had to cut down from 205 and, I was the 205, tournament champion for PFL. He's like, I'm not going to say that. And I was like, okay.
That's because Impa Kasanganay is one of the nicest, straightforward fighters you'll ever, run into. That guy, he doesn't have a bad word to say about anyone. No. Just don't touch his cowboy hat.
Yeah, he came across and was like, no, he's like, I'm not going to use that as an excuse. He's like, I made the weight. He made the weight. And, we both fought outside because I was like, well, what about fighting outdoors? He's like, well, the conditions were for both of us. I'm like, yeah, good for you. Like, a lot of guys would have made excuses. Fuck, I would have. So, because I said like, that fight was outside at night. It was dusty. There's, you get the sand dust and, from the desert come rolling in at night and very difficult. And nose gets clogged up. Your breathing gets, heavy, all of those things. You're fighting in the outside. It was very tough night. But he didn't bite on any of it. So both of them are fighting this week, and that's going to be a damn good fight. It is for the interim title, so it'll be a 5-round fight this time and not a 3-round fight. So you're going to see these guys go 5 rounds potentially. And the winner of that will fight Castelo Van Steenis when he's healthy and ready to go.
Sounds good. Look, I look at it. Johnny Eblin is still very underrated as far as how good he is. Who is Sean Strickland's training partner to get him ready for Chimaev? Johnny Eblin. And there's reasons for it. Johnny Eblin doesn't stop in the gym. Johnny Eblin is he's a workhorse, he's a machine, and he's only getting better. His only loss is to Van Steenis, and he had won 4 rounds of that fight. He got choked out at the very end of it. He made a mistake. It happens. So you got to look and say Johnny Eblin is as good a middleweight fighter as you'll find. Impa Kasanganay is a guy who just seems to get it done. I don't know. So there's times when you look and you go, there's no way he's going to win this fight. He's too small. He's this, he's that. And he finds ways. Impa is a guy you can never count out. So I think it's a great fight. It'll be fun to watch. And, the PFL is, they have changed their production and the way they're putting on the fights. I can tell you at the arena, they're doing an incredible job. Yeah. It's exciting. It's fun. And on TV, it's way better right now. So, I hope they end up getting a TV deal. I don't know if that's happened yet. I know they're working at it and stuff, but they're really putting on good fights, quality, competition. So people should, if you like MMA, then you need to watch the PFL also.
My conversation with Johnny and Impa was Jonathan Martin has done a great job. He's done a great job. He simplified all the shit that they were doing before that no one gave a crap about. All the
bullshit that we all talked about.
Didn't give a fuck about the smart cage. No one cared. There's nothing smart about it.
There's nothing smart. It's a cage.
It's a fucking cage. It's got some extra microphones underneath it. No one gave a shit.
Yeah.
Okay, there was that. And then on top of that, the tournament stuff, where the best person didn't move on.
I know.
That drove me absolutely crazy. Like, what do you mean? That guy just lost. Why is he still in the tournament? Watching this guy fight the same guy. Sometimes you had to fight the same guy he just fought a couple weeks before.
Or he's moving on and the guy that just beat him is going home.
Which just baffled me. So they got rid of all that nonsense. And now you have the best fighters fighting the best fighters. MMA fans are simple. We just want to see the best fights we possibly can see. That's it. And then also, too, do you remember when you would watch their tournament stuff and between fights, they would just show you a pan shot of the crowd?
Oh, yeah.
And the cage. And I was like, for 5-6 minutes, you're just watching that. Whose fucking bright idea was that? That was garbage. So now, like there's actually something in between, not much, but still something in between. Better than just watching a pan shot between. So Jonathan Martin has done a great job of what they're doing. I'm looking forward to, hopefully he can get a TV deal. Hopefully they stick around. I want them to stick around. It's better for everyone to have. Yeah, fighters need them. Managers need them. Fighters need them.
Yep.
They are your bargaining chip.
Yeah.
The PFL, Ryzen, One Championship, and Coker's new organization, they are your bargaining chip for whatever it is you want to try to get done outside of the UFC, if you want to get something done outside of the UFC. We have one more thing because I actually will get killed by Joel Miller, 626. Usman versus DDP this weekend. Who do you got, John?
I love Kamaru Usman.
I hear a butt coming.
There is a butt coming. In a 5-round fight. One of the things with DDP is he's awkward in the way that he approaches fights and the way he delivers things. But it looks like he gets tired, but he just keeps coming.
Yeah,
which is a real problem when you are going up in age like Kamaru Usman is. And he's going to end up having to wrestle. And the wrestling side, he's always been a good wrestler, but at this point in his career, that's what's going to get him tired. And I think going into the 3rd, 4th round, and I think the fight will go there, he's going to be tired at that point. And that's a bad place to be when you're fighting DDP.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like DDP went back home, was like, look, I just got annihilated by just getting taken down time and time again, getting held down. He's like, obviously I had to make some changes. I think he's going to make some changes. There was a video that went out today of Kamaru Usman warming up with Justin Gaethje, and he takes him down. And then when he gets down, there's somebody videotaping with a camera with their phone. And he's like, oh, my knee popped. Kamaru Usman said that. And then he goes to stand up and he posts his hand on his knee and kind of gets up straight legged, like using his hand to keep his leg kind of like straight so he can stand back up. Definitely not a good thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. And now I know he's like, oh, my knees are, been doing better. And the way he performed against Joaquin Buckley. But this is a different animal. He's 185 pounds, walks around probably 212, 215, in the off season. Not Kamaru, but DDP. And we're going to have to see him wrestle a lot to control that top position.
Yeah.
I think boxing, DDP's punches come from really weird angles. It's going to give Kamaru some problems. He's got some power. What he's got is really heavy kicks. DDP does. And if he gets started early on those calf kicks and leg kicks, but he's got to avoid the takedown of the process. So that could be dangerous. So I don't know. I'm going to lean towards Kamaru Usman based off of the sample size of the fact that you can't learn how to wrestle in just 10 months.
No, you can't. But you got to be honest about it. Kamaru got ragdolled in the beginning with Chimaev also.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so there's levels to everything, and it's just a matter of if it was a young Kamaru Usman, I'm going Kamaru Usman.
Mm-hmm.
He's an older fighter now, and it's he's not able to do some of the things in the same fashion as he was able to do before. Kamaru is he is damn special at a certain point in his career. But Father Time is not kind as the years go up. And it's DDP at this point has been there. He's done it. He's been against very good fighters. He's fought the very best out there and stuff. So, like I said, if Kamaru can get it done early, that's where I could see it happening. But I think that's going to be tough for him to do.
Big fight. It's going to be in Oklahoma, about an hour north. I was going to go to it, but I'm going to Vegas.
I screwed you.
No, it's funny. I didn't. John Morgan didn't know that I was doing the your referee's command course. So he's like, hey, so are you working the CFFC tomorrow night or Friday night? And I was like, no, man, I'm gone. He's like, okay. He's got to scramble around now. So he found someone to replace me.
Oh, man.
But no, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. Look, finally, I can actually try to answer some questions with some conviction. I actually know what I'm talking about.
That's the whole point.
Zeke6629, thanks again for the super chat. Says, congratulations. Your live audience is growing. I've been a member for 21 months, and I thank you very much for that, Zeke, man. You've been a loyal guy, man. You guys, you've been awesome. I remember you having a battle with somebody tipping us a couple $100 one night. I want to thank you guys so much. I did a live show on my own one time, and they tipped me a couple $100 back to back. Kept going. They ended up being like a $500 night. It was good. And I was only on for about an hour and a half, which was nice. When you can make that kind of money in an hour and a half, you feel good about it. I've been a member for 21 months, and I'm ready for another 21 more. I appreciate that. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Zeke. I appreciate the confidence. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, man. And love that John is back now on Mondays. I'm going to steal him every once in a while, too, for some more. And then we've got one last one before we wrap this one up. Joel Miller, thanks for the show tonight, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for the $10 super chat. Appreciate all you guys. All of you guys, hey, become subscribers. There's a $4.99 membership and a $1.99 membership. I'm going to start pulling your guys' memberships and just grabbing somebody from there randomly and also just doing a show with you guys. I know I haven't done it in the last 2 months. I apologize for that. And I also haven't sent out a box of Element in the last 2 months. I've been traveling for my son's lacrosse all across the country. I'm finally home, and then I leave again this weekend to Vegas until August 1st. Yeah, I'm going there, and then we're going to California until August 1st to see family until school starts. But I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to support the pod, man. We've grown 2,500 subscribers in the last 2 months, I would say. So it's grown quite a bit, and trying to keep the ball rolling. I'm doing a lot of lives. Tomorrow morning, I believe it's tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central Time. I have Jens Pulver on, and we're going to talk again about the UFC 329. We're going to talk Little Evil, the very first lightweight champ in the UFC.
That's right.
He was the man. Him and I, long story short, him and I were supposed to fight a couple of times, but then he went to the UFC and became the champ. So I'm actually lucky I didn't fight him. I probably got my ass kicked. But in that moment, it was awesome. He's a great guy. He is a huge kick streamer. He covers all the UFC fights on Kick. So he'll talk about that tomorrow morning. We'll be doing that tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you guys don't miss it, man. It's going to be a live show, another live show for you guys. So I'm trying to keep you guys busy. And then 5:30 tomorrow Central Time, we have John Morgan. I think Dean Thomas is joining the show as well. He's got to make sure his flight gets back in time so he can join the show. But that show as well, 5:30, John Morgan, Dean Thomas, and myself, we will talk about, obviously, a UFC 329 breakdown again. Okay, we're going to do it again. But then also, too, is we're going to feed into this weekend's show with Kamaru Usman and DDP. So we'll talk about the news as well, leading into this, leading out of it, because we did the show last week and it was great. But all of you guys have been fantastic, and thanks for continuing to support the pod. And you guys, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Saturday mornings used to mean coffee and sidelines. Now it's game time for all of us. We're running drills, chasing goals, and trying to keep up with each other. Soccer, lacrosse, doesn't matter. What matters is we're doing it together. But here's the thing I didn't expect. Training with your kids, it hits different. You sweat more, you push harder. If you're not careful, you could burn yourself out. That's why I started bringing Element. No sugar, no junk, just electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, magnesium. So you can stay sharp, stay moving, and stay in the game. Because when your kids look over and say, "Come on, Dad, keep up," you don't want to sit this one out. You want to be right there with them. Hydration isn't just about performance. It's about showing up. For them, for yourself, for moments like this. Element.
Stay salty.
Stay salty, everyone.